Oh me.
No, I think it's great that you're finding things that you like doing. I mean,
What are you talking about? I don't like doing these things. I need to eat.
well, I'm saying like just the improv thing. You said you wanted to start a YouTube channel.
Hey, let's not talk about that here.
Live streams and stuff. Like, it's good that you're finding things that you're getting interested in, and coming over here and doing the podcast.
I'm trying to find things to be interested in. I still haven't found something to be interested in yet.
But you're trying.
Yeah.
And that's more than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Can we change the subject?
No.
Let's talk about your new life endeavor.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, yesterday...
You don't have to tell everybody.
No, yesterday I met with this 21-year-old dude at the gym and yada, yada, yada. Now my ass really hurts.
Well, you forgot the best part.
What?
His name's Anakin.
Yeah, Anakin. Anakin really...
Anakin really went to town on me on Monday.
Yeah.
And
Did he show you the dark side of the Force?
Yeah.
He hates his name.
So, needless to say, I am very sore today.
Yeah, it's been funny watching you walk around. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, well, despite all that, like, I do have a lot of energy, even though I seem low energy.
Does he
today,
call you Padawan?
Chadwan.
Chadwan. Oh my God.
Perfect.
I hate you.
I'm his little Chadwan.
That is the worst.
Show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things, TV shows and movies and some random swearing. Hey! 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 This is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. Welcome to the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Deadbeat Chad, and with me is Chucky Sleaze. Chucky, take a bow.
Bowing.
Also with us today is perpetual special guest Jess Moon. Jess, take a bow.
I bow to no one.
All right, so I'm actually pretty excited about this one. This movie is one that I remember fondly from my childhood. I had the VHS tape in my room. I watched it a lot. 30 plus years had passed by, and I've finally rewatched it again. I've seen it now like 3 times as an adult, and I absolutely adore this movie.
What movie?
We're talking about Freaked, which came out in 1993, written by Alex Winter, Tim Burns, and Tom Stern. Alex Winter is the main character in the movie.
And he's Bill from Bill and Ted. That's like what people...
Yeah, he's the one...
What most people would know him from.
He's the one that isn't Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted.
Yes.
Alex Winter is one of those actors / writers, whatever. He's like... I just always really respected him. He's kind of always done his own thing. Even after doing like Bill and Ted, which really did put him on the map. I mean, he went on to do... He was in Lost Boys. He did that... there was a TV show called The Idiot Box that he did for MTV, which, Freaked, the movie we're talking about, like has a lot of similarities to. That was more like a sketch comedy thing that was very short-lived for MTV. But yeah, I do remember watching this movie as a kid and just, it's dumb. It's the stupidest movie you will ever watch in your life, but I absolutely adore it.
I had never heard of this movie. I don't know. It is the most 1993 movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And I mean, to be honest, going into it, like with the opening credits are so distinctive.
Yeah.
That animation style is very, I want my MTV. It's very, what did you say? What did you say it reminded you of?
Yeah, it was like the MTV's Liquid Television
Liquid
shit.
Television, yeah. It makes me think of part of, in Beavis and Butthead Do America when they're like tripping and shit gets all weird and drippy and shit like that. It kind of reminds me like that.
David Daniels was the stop motion artist that did the credits.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a song by Blind Idiot God with Henry Rollins playing over it, which is not the greatest, but it works.
Blind Idiot God is made up of what band members, though?
I don't know.
I think it's like it's like a super band. It's got I read the members of the band that wrote the song in the credits.
Okay.
And it seems like Butthole Surfers had a part in the band.
Well, this movie in particular was
because the lead singer of Butthole Surfers shows up.
Yes, he has a cameo.
Yeah.
Gibby Haynes is in the movie. Well, the movie itself was supposed to be a movie starring the Butthole Surfers.
It makes sense.
That's where this whole thing got started. Alex Winter has directed music videos for bands such as the Butthole Surfers. There were others, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ice Cube, Marilyn Manson.
Blind Idiot God is an American instrumental rock trio made up of guitarist Andy Hawkins, bassist Gabriel Katz, and drummer Ted Epstein. So there you go.
None of those names ring a bell.
But Rollins was singing for the band at the time,
right.
and okay.
Yeah. Well, I love the Butthole Surfers. I have no idea. I didn't listen to Blind Idiot God growing up or anything, but like,
were they the band that was playing that? It was down, 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 down. Every time something would happen in the movie that was kind of exciting,
the vast majority of music in this was either done by the Butthole Surfers or Blind Idiot God.
Okay,
so it's one or the other. If you look at the soundtrack, there's a couple other bands on there too, but like 80% of them are those two that have done the music. But
yeah, no, like with the opening credits, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of this movie. I do not have the best track record on this podcast when either of you assholes pick a movie to watch. When it comes to actually liking it.
What did you actually think of this, though?
At first,
you had no clue going in what you were getting into.
No, not at all.
Aren't we supposed to save that until the end of the show?
Well,
so what did you think of this?
Yeah, well, okay, let's save it till the end. Well, okay.
I'm sorry. That was mean of me.
I don't care. I don't give a This is your show too.
I don't want to fucking tell you what I think.
Because I could tell you what I thought too, and I agree with you.
Well, no,
I'm probably the only one that loves this movie.
No. When it started and the first like 5 minutes up into that fucking plane joke that as it was happening, I was like, don't fucking do it. And it was like, glad we weren't on that plane. And I was like, God damn it, Chad.
Yeah.
What have you fucking done to me?
Here's the thing about this film. This is supposed to be.
By the end of it, I was fucking charmed and I really liked it. And that was surprising.
It does that to you. The movie does have a charming feel to it.
Even though it's fucking gross in a lot of ways.
It takes a while to get going.
It does.
I kind of hate the beginning of the movie.
I don't like the beginning. We watched it last week or the week before, and then we watched it again last night. And the beginning is not strong. Like up until Randy Quaid comes in.
Yeah.
I don't fucking like the byplay between, Julie and Ernie and Ricky, those I don't fucking care.
Right.
But,
well, and I will say this. I mean, this movie is an hour and 19 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overstay its welcome. No. It's just the perfect length to just put on, zone out, and be done with it soon enough. Even if it's something that you don't like, you're not wasting a whole lot of time.
Just close your eyes and think of it.
Yeah, the movie goes by, the plot goes by pretty quick. I mean, it's a horror comedy, I guess, a dark comedy, if you will, but like it's not really funny because it's just constantly throwing
sometimes
jokes.
I fucking
it's like
laugh
live action Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
The way that
all the close-ups, like in Ren and Stimpy, and they get all close up and it's like fucking nasty.
The way that I look at this movie is as if MTV made Island of Dr. Moreau. That's what the entire plot of this movie is. Island of Dr. Moreau. And it has it's got MTV written all over it. I mean, it's that era of just wild, colorful,
like I said,
crazy
it is
animation.
So 1993. Holy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the references in this, like there's product references and things like that are just kind of outdated. I mean, there's a character in this who plays the best friend, Ernie.
Ernie. Do you remember the only other thing that you've seen him in?
He was in Blossom.
Exactly. He was the
don't
older
remember
brother.
that show.
He was the slightly older brother on Blossom.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. Joey was the slightly older one. He was the oldest brother.
Okay, if you say so. I remember the show. I just don't ever remember watching it.
I didn't watch Blossom, but I existed when TGIF was a thing. So his face looked familiar to me, but
Yes.
I couldn't place it. So that it's probably just commercials or
I mean, I knew him from this movie.
Wow.
Because I watched this movie before I even knew what Blossom was, probably. But
no, I don't know, because you hear Passion Project. Because this absolutely is an Alex Winter passion project.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't know, dude. I don't know. I think I'm so jaded by like some of the fucking Champagne and Bullets, terrible Passion Project movie. I hate that movie. So
Passion
I'm always
Project
like,
movies are very hit or miss.
They're either fucking amazing or I see why you had to do this all yourself.
This is nothing but trouble all over again. It's
very much so. But I like this one.
Well, I like them both.
Except when his head is like doing the spurty thing. That's fucking gross.
Yeah, but the best friend character of Ernie, he's kind of misogynistic. It's a product of its time. There's jokes in this movie that are just like.
Yeah, but at the same time, for every joke he has, she's right there being the man hater and like literally beating the shit out of him at every opportunity. So
the movie gets a little insensitive with the types of characters in this that they consider to be freaks.
Well, we'll get into that because I think you and I are talking about the same thing.
Right.
But anyway, so what's this movie about?
Talking about Mr. T?
Dude,
Mr. T is one of them.
So like literally everybody is in this movie.
Yeah,
there are so many fucking cameos.
Ton of people.
In
You
this
want me to go down
movie?
this
It's
list?
Insane.
We got Alex Winter, Megan Ward, Randy Quaid, William Sadler, Keanu Reeves, uncredited.
Yeah.
Mr. T, Brooke Shields, Bobcat Goldthwait. Who else? John Hawkes. He's won an Emmy or two. Tom Stern, one of the writers and
Morgan
director.
Fairchild, Deep Roy.
Yeah. So Gibby Haynes from from
that
Butthole
guy
Surfers.
from David Letterman that has the thick glasses.
Yeah.
What's
That's
his name?
Calvert DeForest. He goes Bud Melman is his like character. He was on the David Letterman show and shit like that. But yeah, this movie has a ton of people in it.
Well, and even not the cameos, like the guy who is like head of EES, like that guy, the
Bill
evil
Sadler.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's like, this is the movie of, I've seen that guy. Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, William Sadler, you would know him best as Death from the Bill and Ted movies. He's done a lot of...
He is, isn't he? Holy shit.
He's done a lot of TV.
Of course, that's how
he
he got him.
Shawshank Redemption.
He was in The Green Mile.
He's in a lot of things.
I love Bill Sadler.
No, he's great. He's one of those
actors.
faces. I'm like, he's a character actor. I'm like, but...
Yeah, and he is perfect for the role of this character in this movie,
he's so fucking ridiculous. His little, like, weird grin.
Yeah, so the plot of this movie is...
Oh, my God.
It's kind of simple. Alex Winter,
he's Ricky Coogan.
Ricky Coogan.
He plays like a star. He's like a
he's like a child
Hollywood
actor who's a
star.
little older now, and he's still kind of famous.
Excuse you. He was in the Ghost Dude movies.
Yes, Ghost Dude was like his big thing that he starred in, which was apparently
dude.
Even Brooke Shields do that.
Yeah.
But he's called upon by this company called EES, which stands for Everything Except Shoes. They need him to be like their poster boy for this product that's called Zygrot 24,
Which is basically Monsanto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fucking
Shit.
toxic waste shit.
It's literal toxic waste that they're trying to like downplay as bad
so
for the
they need,
environment.
It's that shit from Fallout. The mutating the virus. What was it called? FEV.
Yeah.
It's the ooze
FEV.
from the Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah, it's
ooze.
Yeah. It's literally it's that shit. And so they need like a Hollywood guy, like what, C tier, D tier, someone to be the face of this, Zygrot 24 shit, and they're like, hey.
Yeah, because they're getting the attention of activists and shit. They're getting protested, and they don't like it, so they need him to like kind of be the face of the company so that they can downplay its impact on the environment, basically. They offer him $5 million.
Excuse me. First,
you forgot about what's his name? The coffee guy. Juan Valdez.
Oh, yes.
When he introduces Juan Valdez to show him that Zygrot is just fine because he's been using it at his village.
He's been using it for years.
This scene is pretty good because like they use a series of different sized little people to like show his progression and shrinking. And they all kind of resemble each other enough that it's believable. Like that was like one of the only like super good in camera
when he's
tricks.
Like the really tiny one, he's so cute.
Yeah, but when he's the one in the middle, he's the main Oompa Loompa.
It's Deep Roy, man. He's like super famous.
He's bound down.
Yeah, Deep Roy had a little bit of a cameo in this too.
Deep Roy's been in a lot of things. People probably know him as what? Like, well, he was in Big Fish.
Yeah.
He was all the Oompa Loompas in the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka. Yeah. He was all the Oompa Loompas. Anyways, that guy.
Yeah, he's been in things. He's done
great.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get Ricky to sign on for $5 million to.
After offering him 2, and then they're like, "How about 5?" And
yeah. And by the way, his entourage that he has behind him
is insane.
It's like one person from every decade.
They've got this like Asian dude who's like ripped in like a hot pink like.
These are
like,
not a group of people that would ever hang out.
And another like art lady.
You know what I noticed about this scene is how rubbery his face is.
Yeah,
and how he's got great expressions, which are totally wasted on most of this movie because his face can't move.
Well, yeah. Well, and I had told Chad last night when we were watching this is he makes me think he has that Jim Carrey kind of rubber face, like especially like in The Mask. Like there's some kind of smiles and really sneers and stuff like that.
Well, had really nice skin as a young man,
but then regains.
He is definitely a very distinctive.
I meant as a young man. I was talking about the actor. I just every time they show close up of him, I was just like, man. His skin looks so smooth.
Did you want to touch him?
I did want to touch him a little bit.
Just kind of, ooh.
No, as soon as you told me last night that like he had that Jim Carrey,
he does. He has that
vibe,
like...
I was like, man, that would be awesome to see if the sequel that they had made had him in it. But I don't know, it would have sucked either way.
Nah.
But
yes, it would. It better let Jamie Kennedy have that because no, thank you. But no, yeah, he is really good at because I fucking hate him at the beginning. I mean, obviously you're like supposed to. He's like this. He thinks he is like God's gift to acting or something, and when he is C tier at best, and you know he's I don't know. He's
He's acting like one of those Logan or Jake Paul guys.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has black hair in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little weird just because if you're used to seeing him as Bill.
Because I literally only know him as Bill. So he's got the curly blonde hair.
Yeah. You know, this movie, his hair is dyed jet black.
I told you, he looks like a combination. He looks as if Harlan Williams and Rob Schneider had a love child.
No, you left out Barry Pepper.
What?
Oh no, I could see that.
Barry Pepper looks like his older brother or something.
No, he does.
What the fuck is Barry Pepper?
Oh no, he's one of those guys
Battlefield
that look
Earth.
him up. Look him up. He's in Battlefield Earth. He's in Starship Troopers. He's in all kinds of fucking.
I thought that was Alex Winter.
So did I at first when I saw Battlefield Earth the first time.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He is one of those guys that's in so much and has a distinctly recognizable face, but few people like actually know his name for whatever reason.
I love Battlefield Earth, by the way.
I've never seen it.
We could cover that one.
I've never seen that.
She's gonna hate it so much.
Well, I know.
Do you like Scientology?
No, I don't. I know quite a bit about it. Honestly, it's thanks to South Park.
Yeah, this is Scientology the movie.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I know what it is.
No, it isn't.
What?
I've read quite a few of L. Ron's books, and this is the story of the Earth in the year 3000. I think that's what it is.
I thought it was Scientology, the movie. It was based off of their shit.
No, that's Dianetics.
Well, I know that.
The Dianetics. This is just sci-fi that L. Ron Hubbard wrote.
Oh.
I thought this was literally taken from like
No.
Okay, well, I've never seen it.
Okay,
None.
I thought it was
because like John Travolta's in it and all of that. Maybe just because of the L. Ron.
It's actually not even one of his better books.
Look, I don't know fuck all about Scientology. I honestly don't.
I know
Neither do I, but I
know
I have read a lot of his sci-fi stuff, not Dianetics.
That shit's just too
I've
weird.
never read Dianetics. I'm not going to. No, thank you.
Back to this, so they hire Ricky to be the spokesman for this Zygrot 24 fertilizer shit, and they need him to fly out to Santa Flan.
Yeah, Santa Flan.
Santa Flan, whatever,
yeah.
to
some country in Central America, South America,
right.
Because that's to film a commercial, or
he's sending him there to I guess approach the protesters that are out there to downplay.
Is he there to actually interact with the protesters?
What the problem was here. He needed to go and he's their spokesman now.
Oh, see, I thought he was going there to film a commercial or something. I don't know.
But yeah.
Anyways, they sent him there.
They get on an airplane to fly out to Santa Flan.
Yeah, Morgan Fairchild's the stewardess.
And this is where we meet Eddie, his best friend.
Ernie,
his best friend in the worst way possible. He's that character. He is that best friend character that every early 90s movie had. He's probably never slept with a woman. He's trying his hardest to see boobies. He thinks he's funny, and he's just got this.
He's the kind of guy that carries a rubber hand onto a plane.
Yeah. Yes.
And acts like it's his dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his hat.
His outfits.
Well, he's wearing a Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt at the beginning too.
I remember this time period. I was very young, but I remember these styles.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that they just looked okay. And now I'm like, man, these things look fucking ridiculous. The whole
I don't mind
t-shirts tucked into really loose pants with an overshirt, a button-up overshirt that's too big for you.
Yeah. I mean, did I ever wear that?
Shoes.
No, I was in elementary school, at that age in 1993. But, I don't know. I feel like clothing overall, especially trends, are usually pretty ridiculous.
And way too many berets.
Oh, berets.
Yeah, because we meet Julie.
Yeah, I guess she
later
does have.
on,
Well, I kind of figured that was a protester thing.
She is just the quintessential 90s girl.
Yeah.
She's got the choppy shoulder length blonde
very
hair
blunt
with
bob
the red
haircut.
beret.
Yeah.
She's the save animals activist.
Well,
character.
she's the head of the protesters, I think, or at least she's one of the main protesters down there, and specifically to throw shit at Ricky.
You forgot about the little troll in the carry-on.
We're on the airplane at this point, so they're flying out to Santa Flan to whatever it is. I confront the protesters, make a commercial. I don't really fucking
they're
remember.
going to Santa Flan.
And that's where we meet Stewie Gluck, who is a child.
He's an obsessed fan.
He's probably 9
child.
years old, something like that, 10. He looks like Alfred E. Newman.
He does. He really does.
He's got these big fake prosthetic ears on him. These
jug
big
ears,
teeth.
buck teeth.
He's very reminiscent of Clint Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. He's that type of character. Red curly hair, freckles.
His
big glasses.
prosthetic ears.
Yeah. I'm really curious what he looks like now, if he grew into his face. Or
Well, I would show you, but he doesn't have a Wikipedia.
He's Eddie Redmayne now.
Oh my God, that would be fucking amazing.
But yeah, so this kid he's Ricky's #1 fan. He grew up watching all his movies. Later on, you see him in his room, and he's got a shrine where he's got all these posters on his wall. He's just obsessed with Ricky Coogan. And so he smuggles himself on board the plane in their luggage.
To get an autograph.
Yeah, to get an autograph on this rare photo of him that he has. And
but also to kind of be what are you doing with the Zygrot 24?
That's exactly why
that.
he's on the plane. Because at this point, he finds out he's got a issue of Time magazine that's showing that Ricky has signed on with everything except shoes to promote the Zygrot product. So he's really upset because he thought he was a good guy, and now he's promoting harming the environment and all this shit. And then a fucking door on the plane opens up and it sucks him out. And
a man in a wheelchair.
the stewardess is walking around like nothing's happening. It's
and then she's oh, well, here, I better close this up. And then it's fine.
Yeah, so, some dude in a wheelchair follows him out the door.
Yeah. Doesn't he get stuck on the wing like a gremlin?
It's what is that fucking forbidden?
It's from Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. I was thinking of Forbidden Zone. Which is a Danny Elfman movie. Twilight Zone, the gremlin on the wing of the plane. thing. I know that it was in the movie. John Lithgow was in that.
Gremlins actually come from military jargon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. In
From
that
the 40s, I think.
in that
30s?
comic book, that General Maintenance monthly.
Yeah, they had a little gremlin that was.
Yeah, I read an article on where the gremlin came from, and it's your gremlin will get into your tank and mess up your stuff
Yeah, they
if
fuck
you
with
don't
machinery.
if you don't regularly change your oil and scrub your treads.
Yep. Yeah, it was definitely created so you would be mindful of the maintenance of your vehicles.
So much has come from that, though,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
the guy who thought it up, probably made nothing off of it.
Oh no.
Yeah, we don't even know who
nobody
did
made
that.
money off of
Who was
anything
that guy?
back then, except the people who bought the rights to it. Creators didn't make shit back then. They barely do now. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, you're wearing a Walt Disney shirt.
That's an Elvis the
funny that you're wearing a
alien,
Walt Disney shirt.
It's an Elvis the alien shirt, like fucking mocking Mickey Mouse.
This is my podcasting shirt.
Oh yeah,
I have worn this shirt more times recording than I haven't.
I guess I hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
I try and if I have a shirt related,
I don't
to
even
what
wear
we're
this shirt
talking about,
outside of
then
the house.
No,
I'm
I
wearing
know.
my podcasting socks.
Oh, very
Nice.
nice.
They're not on my feet.
Ooh. Did you wash them?
Never.
I don't know. They're your good luck socks, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got this Stewie character that's now following Ricky around, and he's upset that he's promoting this Zygrot product. He gets sucked out of the plane and
On the wing of the
Lands in
plane
a
and-
field next to a giant pile of hay.
Yeah.
Like it
lands
shows
on
the
the ground.
pile like he's gonna land on it, and he lands right next to it.
yeah, this
I'm
is
alive.
this
I'm
is a character
fine.
that
And
he exists to be abused. That's him.
Pretty
That's he's always getting hurt. He's
I
always,
Until
really-
the end.
I like it. He's one of my favorite parts. Like at the beginning,
Hmm.
like I didn't like Ricky and Ernie and the Julie.
No, I don't like any of them.
But I any scene with him in it, I kind of enjoy just because he's yelling so much, and I like it when people yell in movies constantly.
So they land in Santa Flan. The first thing they do is it shows the plane landing and then exploding, and then it cuts to Ricky and Ernie going, "Oh, I'm glad that wasn't our plane."
Yeah, I hate that.
That
that is some
fucking
like
old
that's
gag.
some fucking like Naked Gun, like National
Yes,
Lampoon
this-
kind
this-
of.
Or airplane.
Yeah, airplane.
Yeah, this does have a lot of
which
those-
is not my kind of. I know a lot of people like that kind of humor. I'm
not into
it
it.
makes me immediately mad. So I'm like, don't you fucking goddamn it!
This
they
is
did
one
it.
of
There
those-
are some funny jokes.
No,
in
there
there
are.
but they're coming so fast back to back that you don't have time to laugh or even think about it, because once they tell one joke, they're on to the next one.
Yeah, it is definitely just throwing jokes at you.
And some hit and some don't. I mean, even last night when it was the second time I watched it, I can't remember exactly, but they startled a laugh out of me a couple of times because I'd forgotten, just like random. Oh, what was it? Oh, the Family Circus. Never mind.
yeah.
With Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
But I mean, you can tell that the creators of this movie were fans of movies like Airplane.
Yeah.
Yes.
But thankfully, they don't do that thing where it's joke after joke after joke.
Yeah.
Well, this movie
Or maybe they are, and they're just not funny enough to be considered jokes.
This movie was made by Gen Xers. Gen X was definitely influenced by the National Lampoon Airplane style movies that were coming out in the 60s and 70s. But
Yeah, so they meet Julie.
yeah, after they land in Santa Flan and their plane doesn't explode, they find this group of protesters that are.
Well, and they have
They're
that moment where
protesting.
Ricky sees her and he's like, oh. So
Well, yeah, they're out protesting Ricky.
him, yeah.
Yeah, they have signs of telling
And
him how bad he
sees her
sucks and all
before
this
she
shit.
sees him, and he's like, "Oh my god, she's beautiful." So
Yeah,
It
it's
finds the perfect disguise.
absolutely,
yeah,
and really unleashes his acting chops. It's a masterful performance.
So yes, he sees Julie, who I described earlier, short, choppy blonde hair, beret, animal rights activist. You've got a picture of her in the head just by that description alone. But he's in love with her, at least thinks she's cute, whatever it is. So she's protesting him, so he needs to find a disguise. And where he gets this, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't. In a movie like this, you can't question where did all this gauze come from?
It's a full body cast.
The crutches.
Yeah,
the
and the crutches. Yeah, Ernie has the crutches.
It's got his face covered up in bandages. He's got like blood on him, so he looks like he's been in some kind of accident or whatever. And he hobbles over there and
pretends to fall so she can catch him.
Yeah. And then he says something about how much the environment means to him, and then she's just...
Well, he blames it on Ernie. He blames Ernie for pushing him over and taking his crutches. But and then she immediately hates Ernie.
Yes.
But then Ricky's like, "Hey, you want to come with us? We're gonna go protest Ricky in another way."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, Ernie, come on." And she's like, "The guy that just shoved you down is your assistant, the one that's helping you."
Yeah.
There's no question about it. So they just hop in the car.
The plot goes forward. It's just the logic doesn't come
The plot is
it.
always moving forward in this movie. You can't spend too much time dissecting or thinking about it too much because there's just not much there, especially in the beginning, because this thing it's
well, I mean, you could sum up the plot in like 4 sentences if need be.
Yeah, and the first 20 minutes of this movie is just kind of setting up who Ricky is.
You know, a thing about this movie I thought about, I might as well say it now. Every time I tell someone I reference this movie, they always go, "Freaks?" And I always have to explain, no, I didn't stutter. It's Freaked.
Yeah.
Totally different movie than Freaks.
Yeah, it is.
Every time, if anyone has ever... Even if they haven't seen Freaks, they automatically assume I'm talking about Freaks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would argue that Freaks is the better pop culture movie.
Well, it's at least more widely known.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both of these movies are cult classics. They both failed miserably in theaters. And we'll get to that, too, because I think this might be the biggest failure movie that we'll do on the podcast.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, it's that bad. But yeah, you're right. I mean, anytime you talk to somebody about this movie, they have no fucking clue what it is.
Like I said, I never.
Are we going to have to do Furiosa to do a bigger failure?
Oh, no.
Is that failing?
Oh, yeah.
Aww.
Really? Yeah.
I figured that was going to do well.
People don't go to movies anymore.
That's exactly it.
Because everything I've seen, who did we... Oh, Elvis the Alien. We watched him do a video about it, and it looks fun. And I mean, Fury Road was the Mad Max fucking movies. Awesome. So
there's not a single Mad Max movie I didn't like. Yeah, I was very excited for this, but again, I knew it was going to hit HBO as soon as it leaves theaters.
And I think that's what a bunch of people are doing now. Yeah. They just wait until it,
Hey, but Bad Boys is doing really well.
There's another Bad Boys movie?
Yeah, and it made like $210 million in the weekend. Like the same
franchise?
Yeah, so far. Yeah. Will Smith,
really? And Will Smith and
Martin Lawrence. Yeah.
What?
It's the movie of the summer, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Bad Boys 3 or 4. I'm not sure which one. I've never seen one of them.
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I know 1 and 2 exist, but beyond that, I don't know. What the fuck? It's been like 20 years.
Yeah. Good for them.
What?
Dude, they're coming out with a new Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, man. They're just bringing anything back.
We're done with movies. Like, I really think that we have just plateaued. We just keep remaking shit. We keep going back to the same fucking wells to pull from. Like, none of it's interesting.
Well, that's why when you get something like The Lighthouse that comes around, everyone's like,
or Mandy.
Oh, fuck
Mandy
it out.
was
Mandy
fantastic.
Was awesome. Yeah, but even those have been, it's been a couple of years or a few years.
The Holdovers was pretty great.
I just want to watch something that's good, that isn't part of a franchise or isn't part of a reboot. This shit's so tired for me. I just can't stand it anymore. That's why we cover old ass movies, because I just don't think new movies are all that great.
Don't look at me. I watch anime, and when there are movies in the theater, I go to support. So,
I mean, we watched the Godzilla -1. That was good.
We did. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Not my favorite, but I liked it.
Oscar award winning. I actually cared more about the humans in that one than most of the other Godzilla movies. But anyways, we're talking about Freaked.
Yeah. So now we
can keep talking about other movies.
So they get in a Jeep.
Yeah, they
We're gonna get to the goddamn freaks.
They convinced Julie to get in the car with them and take a road trip. Like Chucky said, they're going to protest. I think that's what they said, was they were going to go protest somewhere else.
Well, yeah, I got because Ernie's driving the Jeep or whatever, and Julie and Ricky are in the back, and Ernie's like, "Yeah, that Ricky Coogan's a real asshole, isn't he?" And she's like, "Yeah, fuck that guy."
Right. Meanwhile, he's there like, I don't know, he's pretty good. He's a decent actor. And
she's like, "No, he's so overrated."
What did she say? He's no Keith or something.
No, he's Christian Slater.
Oh, they're the same person.
No, they're not.
Christian Slater.
Oh my god, the levels on the volume. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that really sets him off. She's like, he's no Christian Slater.
Oh, he gets so mad he rips all the bandages off his face.
Yeah, that had to be some kind of a joke, because wasn't Christian Slater in Lost Boys?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Could Christian Slater improv this? And he grins real big. Does that rubber face?
Yeah, it's that big rubber face. So was Kiefer Sutherland, though. He was in Lost Boys as well.
No, okay. Well, this movie is also full of like in jokes, because what I failed to mention early in the podcast is the way the movie starts is that there's a show called it's the Sky Daily Show.
Oh, the Sky Daily Show, yeah.
Hosted by Brooke Shields. She's interviewing
She's Sky
Ricky.
Daily.
Yeah, she's Sky Daily. She's interviewing Ricky, and he's telling her a story about this trip they went on and the situation that they found themselves in.
It's like the Tyra Banks show or something.
Or,
it's just a talk show that
Ricky Lake.
Yeah,
he's the guest on the show.
Jesse, Raphael, all these other shows that haven't been on air for 25 years.
That's very important later on, and I'm sorry I failed to mention that. But
how dare you?
Yeah. So they're now in a Jeep. They're driving out to protest elsewhere, and on the way,
I don't mean to sound creepy, but do they show her feet during that interview?
No.
Okay.
Not at the beginning.
You noticed.
Yeah, I know.
You noticed
the second watch through. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, it's just waist up.
Just glad there was somebody else watching Brooke Shields' feet the whole time.
Oh,
there's a reason.
Yes, there is a reason that we will get to.
Yeah, there is a reason.
There is.
But
you freak.
As they're driving,
no shaming. Chucky.
They start seeing signs for these different freaks. You know, there's one for the worm,
like the frog boy,
the dog boy, frog man.
Yeah, but they first start showing up when Julie's in one of her tirades about equality and stuff, and then she says, "Cool, a freak show."
Yeah. And I have fucking things to say about that. But,
yeah, because she's looking at the signs and she thinks it's a little insensitive that they're parading these freaks on signs.
Well, no, she's like fucking excited.
She's into it. She's excited.
She wasn't into it until she saw the freak show sign.
Well, I know she was.
That's why it was a joke.
She was facing away, like while the signs were passing behind her, and he's like saying the names of the different freaks from the signs, and she's like, "Yeah, and that's rude," and blah blah blah. But yeah, then she turns around and sees the signs, and she's like, "Oh, a freak show! Let's go!" Yeah. Like immediately.
So they see this sign for a freak show, and now they're on a detour to go see this thing. And they get there, and this is just like, I don't know what you would call this, because it's in the middle of nowhere. They even go out of their way to say it is in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in Central or South America.
It looks like Neverland Ranch if Randy Quaid was the king of pop.
Yeah. Yes. It's
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
It's got a shack that Randy Quaid
I want to live in that universe.
Randy Quaid plays a character called Elijah Scruggs. He is the proprietor of this freak show, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I mean it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. They get there and like you pull up in this place. It's got a shack where Elijah lives. It's got like a theater for the freak show itself.
Rotating head.
Yeah, it's a head of him
like made out of wood or something.
It looks like a small festival ground.
Yeah, small carnival type feel to it, and the frogman sitting out front.
And it's just got this giant head of him spinning around in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And
who's the frogman? Tone Loc? No. No, sorry.
Wait, no. There's a frogman.
He's a rapper. And the actor who plays him, what's his name?
Well, there's a character called Toad, and then there's the Frogman. Toad is a guy named Jamie. How do you spell that? Carterish?
Sure. Jaime Carterish.
Jaime Cartery?
Well, I'm totally wrong.
It says Tim Burns as Frogman.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
Tim Burns he's one of the writers. That's why he's got a cameo as the Frogman. The guy in the scuba suit. That's the Frogman.
Okay. Oh,
Toad
you're
is the
right,
guy
you're right.
that keeps snatching stuff
Yes.
out of the
Yes,
sky.
like
Toad's the one
and
with
the
the
rabbit.
tongue.
He
Yes.
eats it up, which was the effect on that was actually pretty fucking decent.
Toad
for this
is
movie.
basically Elijah's bodyguard.
henchman.
He's not one of the freaks. He was.
I mean, he is, but
He is a freak, but he's
Yeah.
the bodyguard. He's
Yeah.
not part of the show, part of the act. So once
Randy
they get
Quaid.
there, they they meet Randy Quaid in this. Who I'm not a huge fan of Randy Quaid. I've seen him in some things I like. I like him in this. I think he's great for this role.
my first note I took is literally just, I'm never truly happy to see Randy Quaid in something. However,
he's never the reason I watch a movie.
no, prior to this movie, and I really enjoyed him in this. He's really good in this role. I really liked him.
What, Chucky? What was the movie?
Kingpins.
I don't like that movie.
Kingpin.
Fuck you.
Independence Day. He
Well,
was in
that's what
that.
I knew.
That's
I liked
fine.
him in Independence Day. Like
Even
that
his
is it.
character in like Christmas Vacation
I
is
don't-
perfect for him because
Yes.
it's that type of character.
I fucking
you know?
hate that character, cousin, whatever.
Yeah,
the
it's
guy.
that redneck uncle that just doesn't give a shit
Yeah.
type character. Randy Quaid is perfect for that. What, Chucky? What is the movie that you had me watch? Was it called Mom and Dad? Where he was Parents. Okay, yeah, that movie, that was a fucked up role for him because weren't they torturing their kid?
Yeah, but they were cannibals. They were torturing him by making him eat his friends and neighbors.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So, Parents, go watch that. That was probably the most fucked up movie I've seen Randy Quaid in.
Yeah, and let it play through the credits too.
What do you mean?
It was a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
I need to rewatch that.
There's a
just because
music
I don't
video
remember
at
much
the
about
end.
it, but
I
I mean,
didn't watch that.
I don't know that you would like it at all,
Yeah.
honestly. But yeah, that's just that.
It reminded me a lot of Fido. Like Fido was definitely inspired by Parents.
I never saw Fido.
Oh boy.
Is that on Amazon? That sounds like an Amazon
It's
movie.
an awesome movie that you need to see.
Interesting.
Okay.
You like Tim Blake Nelson?
Yeah.
You like Tim Blake Nelson as a pervert?
Oh, he would. I could see that.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Yeah. And a necrophiliac?
Oh, God.
All right. Yeah.
Oh no. We thought you.
I will check that
was
out. I will
a
check that out.
toad.
So yeah, we've got Elijah Scruggs here. The gang meets up with him.
He's a character, man. He just sweeps in. He's got like long blonde hair. He's got a goatee.
Yeah, he definitely looks
impeccable
like
fashion sense.
he looks like a
he's
carny for sure.
Well, but like
no,
a
he
smooth,
looks like
suave
he looks
guy.
like General Custer.
I can see that.
He looks like the fucking boss of the carny. He's like he's got like.
I mean, he's got like, you know, the suit jacket and the pants. Everything is very
it's like
different
pajama
patterns
pants.
and stuff like that. Well, I think they're just like a little looser.
And then like weird dress shoes,
Yeah.
like white dress
Yeah,
shoes and
yeah.
a cane.
He thinks himself a dapper man. I can tell you that much.
He's got a goatee
yeah,
and all
little
that shit.
pointed goatee.
Yeah. And another thing about this movie too is, you know, just because of the era it's from and the fact that, you know, I mentioned that it has that MTV vibe to it. There's a lot of fisheye lens work in this, and they like to get real close up on Elijah's face.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's kind of always got these like weird close up fisheye angle when he's talking and shit. It adds something to the movie.
I was shocked by, like, I actually really enjoyed him in this role. And nothing against Randy
He's not
Quaid.
obnoxious.
He's just not.
He's
No.
just a guy.
He's funny. He's
weird
arguably,
kinda guy.
I laughed at him more than anything else in this movie. You know, the fiddle faddle and the
Yeah.
family circus. There's like
paper
little
cup,
fucking
or styrofoam
cup.
Styrofoam cup.
It's like, he was probably overall my favorite part of the movie, which that's a first.
So at this point, they meet up with him. It's night. It's nighttime, and the freak show is closed. But he tells them that he's got like a special show in his shed that he can show them if they want to come check that out.
Mhm.
And Julie is all about it, and the other two are just like,
They're like, maybe not. Yeah.
yeah, this is kind of weird. I don't go in your shed at night and see your special show,
And
but
she's like, oh, come on. Like, it's whatever. And she's already like, he offers her his arm and she like, takes it and they're going into the shed. So
yeah. And then of
Ricky
course
and Ernie
Ernie
are
is
like,
there
well,
like,
okay.
oh, well, maybe we'll get to see some tits.
Oh, maybe they'll have extra whatever. Implying that, maybe there's like several
Maybe
sets
there's a
of tits
freak
on
with
a
multiple
single,
boobs.
Yeah.
But
Well, most people do have multiple boobs. At least two.
multiple pairs of
Okay,
boobs.
all right,
There you
all
go.
right.
How about that? More than two. So yeah, they go into the
You're a
shed.
boob, Chad.
They go into the shed, and then it just shows Elijah like closing the door, like all sinister like.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're just chained up to beds. There's no lead up to this. The next scene is just them chained up to like these
Down to these tables, like a Frankenstein's monster style, like, metal slab table that's like at an angle and they're like, like on there,
right.
each on their own.
And they're all hooked up to this machine. And he's explaining to them that like he doesn't find these freaks, he makes them.
Yeah.
And he uses his machine and this Zygrot 24 substance that he's been getting from the Everything Except Shoes Corporation so that he can make freaks.
Yeah. And he has this big machine, which I love the machine. Oh my goodness. It is
Yes.
a whole thing.
At this point, the entire movie is a Butthole Surfers music video.
It's a fucking trip. Yeah, and he's got this computer in it where he can detail out exactly what he wants the freaks to be. Like he is crafting. He's an artist, man.
Yeah. And his mouse is an actual mouse.
Yeah, I don't like that. I could do that.
That looked a little bad.
That's a stupid joke. But well, because again, the family circus.
But this is also 1993. Again,
he also has the best evil laugh. He like is so overtly evil from the second he steps on the screen. Like immediately he's all
yeah, and then it turns out that he's just laughing at a family
he's
circus.
Like, I like the family circus.
The family circus, like fucking comic
I don't know
strip.
why that fucking made me laugh.
That little rapscallion.
He's so funny in this, man.
Yeah, so he's got them hooked up to this machine, and he asked them who wants to go first, and Eddie's pointing to Julie, like,
Ernie.
Women first, that type of thing.
Yeah,
But,
Ernie and Julie are like sniping at each other, like they've been doing from like the second they meet.
yeah, they've hated each other from the get-go. They're constantly slapping each other, hitting each other.
Which this is going to sound whatever. I like that he punches her back sometimes because she's been decking him full on in the face.
Yeah, they waste
like,
no
second
time
one.
just
immediately beating the
assaulting
shit out of each
the hell
other
out of
and
each other.
insulting each other and assaulting. Yeah, insulting and assaulting. And but no, so he Scruggs goes, and notices the byplay and he's like, all right, I know what to do. And he like do and then he starts it going and everything's like seeming moving up and down and leverage.
Yeah, that machine is incredible.
It's cool. I like it.
Like there was a
It looks
lot.
like he runs it all on like office paint or something.
Yeah, it's got different types of the Zygrot formula, I think, or maybe it's just different chemicals that they're mixing with it so that they can achieve whatever specific results he wants.
Yeah.
It's like a 3D printer for freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This goo is produced, based on his specifications. And, he walks over and he's told them, I'm going to turn you into freaks. And so he goes behind Ernie and Julie and he's about to like do some shit. But one thing that irritates me is multiple times in the movie, like at this point is a specific part, but Ernie's like, oh, he keeps calling his dick a Rodney.
Yes.
And I have
he
no idea
refers to his
why.
dick as a Rodney.
Like on multiple occasions. Because he was like, oh, well, if you're already doing that, can you make my Rodney bigger?
Yeah.
And, the Scruggs is like, oh, what? I can't remember. I'm a scientist or whatever.
I'm a scientist.
Not a miracle worker. Yeah. And like everyone laughs except Ernie. The fucking Rodney. Have either of you ever
I've heard it be
that?
referred to as a rod.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that's short for Rodney.
No,
I don't know.
have
I've
you
heard
ever heard
so
that,
many
Chucky?
different terms.
Have you ever heard a dick being referred to as a Rodney outside of this movie?
No, I call mine my Dennis Rodman.
What?
No,
Guys, new Chucky lore
I
just
actually
dropped.
call it my Rodney Dangerfield.
No.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, that got less funny.
Did you have a list you want to go down here?
What
The
else?
only two Rodneys I can think of, really.
Yeah. So, anyways, continue.
Oh, well, no. You're the plot man. I just wanted to
really.
bring up the Rodney part.
Yeah, he asked him to give him a
him.
bigger dick, and he's like, "No, I can't do that. I'm not gonna." And so he rubs this shit on him.
Yeah, on their sides, and they like fuse together into this like.
Yeah, but they go through a metamorphosis.
They do turn into
They
claymation.
turn into several different things, like Meatwad. Whenever he's trying to figure out the right form to take on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they fucking.
And
they
at
turn
one point,
into
they turn into
Gumby and Pokey.
But Gumby is masturbating furiously while
and like
Pokey watches.
flipping you off, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was a quick little moment. But yeah, they start morphing together, and it's done in this claymation style. And there's a T-Rex and a Cyclops, and then a Gumby masturbating on Pokey.
Well, I don't know about on, but at. Yeah.
At him, whatever. And then
masturbating at him.
and then we find out that Ernie and Julie are now fused together.
Yeah.
Like a
Siamese twins.
Siamese twins, conjoined.
I like it when you're the
bet.
soundtrack.
It sounds like wrestling intro music, like mixed with that Ozzy Osbourne song. All right now.
Yes. I will say that the music in this, it's from that era. I remember it well. I hated this type of music when it was new. I just did because I was listening to punk bands at the time.
I liked everything with Henry Rollins in it.
I was a fan of
Period.
Henry Rollins. I liked Black Flag, but like the Rollins band was okay. But this type of music, I did not start liking until I started feeling nostalgic for it, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah. No, it's very distinctive. Like I said, it's another part of 1993. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, that style of music is now like a time capsule. It's that psychedelic 90s rock that's kind of experimental and independent. It's the Butthole Surfers.
I had one Butthole Surfers album as a kid. That one with the Super Nintendo ad on it. Remember that? I don't give a fuck about the FBI. I don't give a fuck about the CIA. It was on a Super Nintendo commercial, I remembered.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember Super Nintendo singing about I don't give a fuck about the FBI.
Well, they didn't play that part,
That's
but they
very
played
brave of them.
they played the bridge, the guitar
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, where are we at in this movie?
Well, Ernie and Julie are conjoined now, and
That's right.
it's Ricky's turn.
Yeah, now it's Ricky's turn, and Elijah tells him he's going to make him his special freak.
Yeah.
Because he's had this idea of a freak in his mind. Why he hasn't made it yet, I don't know. I guess he was just
waiting for the right guy.
Yeah, he was waiting for the right person to come along. And by the way, you'll find out later. The way that these freaks come about is that they're tourists that he kidnaps, turns into freaks.
Lures them in with the promise of a freak show, and then they become the freak.
Right.
Yeah, and then have to join the show.
So now he's got Ricky. It's his turn. He puts the shit on him, and he runs out halfway through, which is why when he mutates,
that's
he's
why
only
he's
half
split
finished.
perfectly
Yes.
down the middle.
So he sees this
Okay.
like goblin. What would you call this?
Well, there was a joke where he was like, when he saw himself, he was like, I wonder if they're still casting for Gremlins 3.
Yeah,
because he does have like that kind of gremlin ear and look, but like really fucking.
He looks like the Cheddar Goblin.
Yes,
Yeah,
he does. He
yeah.
looks like the Cheddar Goblin from Mandy. Absolutely. But he's like, it's kind of like a Two-Face situation where he's like only half fucked up and he's half
right
normal.
Side is
Yeah,
a
like
freak.
in old freak shows, they'd have the person that walks around in half tuxedo and half
Dress.
evening gown.
Yeah,
Drag. Yeah.
the half and half, like
Well, he's the
male,
man monster
female.
version of that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, if you need to Google it,
It's
the makeup on
fucking
this
gross.
is
it's so
awesome.
good. Like the quality of the practical effects and the prosthetics on these various like people is really quite impressive.
I
lot
wonder
of the
if they
times.
had like, you know how his mouth is open the whole
Yeah,
entire
it's like,
time?
Yeah.
I
down the
wonder
side.
if they had a person with one of those dental tools where they suck spit out of your mouth,
I feel like you'd have
just
to.
constantly off camera, sucking spit out of Alex
Well,
I
Winter's
really
mouth.
think you'd
drooling a
have
lot
to, 'cause
in this.
yeah.
And then he's got these like boils and pimples and shit
It's
that kind of
so
squirt every once in a
fucking
while.
gross. That
That's
is
kind of gross, but
fucking nasty.
I think that like first of all, this is a special effects movie, a practical effects movie.
Yeah, starting here. Yeah.
The whole movie is just fucking littered with special effects and amazing looking costumes and sets.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time and attention and love went into making this.
Like the guys at the end. I mean, obviously, I'm skipping it. I won't go into detail, but the two big guys at the end are so impressive.
Those are incredible looking.
I mean, they're gross, and it's not my preferred style, but I'm like, wow. Like,
yeah,
it's like a really more highly produced Gwar concert at the end.
Yes, this is Gwar. This is Butthole Surfers. This is Green Jelly. This is all those like bands of that time that were just like theatrical, multicolored,
like purposefully
gross out bands.
Gross out, yeah.
Akin to a Garbage Pail Kid. Yeah. This is like heavy metal mixed with Garbage Pail Kids. But so yeah, he's got Ricky's mutation going on. He's half fucked up, half normal, and then he tosses him into an outhouse, which is kind of like a TARDIS.
It's a fucking TARDIS. Like it just looks like a damn outhouse, and then he opens it, and it's like this huge barn situation.
Yeah, it's like a barn, and that's where he keeps his freeze.
Large enough to play Hollywood Squares in a corner of.
That's a great way to introduce.
Yes, that is an extremely clever way to introduce the character because we have tons of freaks in this movie, and there's 3 too many.
We may be freaks, but we know how to have fun. That was my Keanu Reeves impression.
That was great, the dog boy. Yeah.
There are 3 too many freaks in this movie, and I will name them as we go, but like there are 3 of them that just have nothing to do in this film, and they only exist to just be like, I don't know, I guess visually appealing.
Who are those?
Rosie the Pinhead.
Sorry.
Nosy. And then the Frogman.
Well, the Frogman's literally just a guy in a scuba suit.
What about the wrench?
No, the hammer.
The hammer.
No, yeah. That's my favorite one.
4 if you count. Who's the guy that just all he does is like farts fire?
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
What is he called?
The Human Flame.
Human Flame. There you go. Yeah, he's useless too. Yeah, he does nothing.
No, that's not true. He provides fire later on when they're doing their breakout plan. He does. I paid attention last night. He actually does help heat up when they're making the ointment and all of that shit and about to tunnel through. Cool. Much like I'm just saying.
I still
there
think
are a lot of characters that were based on farting in that around that time period, like Mystery Men.
Yeah, that's how you. Yeah. That's how you got the kids.
Or again with the gross out stuff in general. Yeah. I mean, the gross out stuff in general was really big. I mean, Booger Man was a video game that
was a great game.
I played the shit out of it, but it's that similar. I mean, you flick boogers, and that's your fucking like.
There was tons of gross out shit. You had Ren and Stimpy. You had Mad Magazine. You had you name it.
It was a thing.
Yeah, gross out humor was definitely what they were like gearing little boys towards in the 90s. So where are we at now?
They met, he sees, Julie and Ernie.
Yeah, this is the first time they're meeting.
They had an outfit already made for them, which is okay.
Yeah, they've got this half and half outfit that's
and they see him,
ridiculous.
They're like, it's okay. And he's like, I'm hideous. And they're like, come into the light, it's okay. And they see him and cue the Nickelodeon slime pipe kind of vomit, just the
just the over exaggerated amount of vomit that he spews out of his mouth after seeing Ricky.
Ernie, and then Julie does too.
Yeah, because she's kind of like, okay, it's not that bad.
It's fine. Human beauty is only one
and the whole time she's trying to fight it back. Yeah, and then she finally just vomits.
But she also, this is where she starts her fucking hypocritical bullshit because this bitch is the reason they are there.
Yes,
it was her insistence in the Jeep. And then her insistence going into the goddamn shed. And multiple times in this movie, she tries to blame both of them, men, for being the reason. Bitch, this was you.
Yeah.
You are the reason you're here.
Yeah, she's kind of like
she's like Eve from the garden. Sorry, I didn't think it was that funny.
It's just so random.
Thank you.
I love you, Chucky.
Nowhere.
I love you.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. It's the fucking hypocrisy. It irritates me.
It is kind of weird because her character is so not written well. because
she's a caricature of that type of person.
She is that activist female type archetype that
man-hater,
but then at the same time like loves men. Like
her character reminds me of Reese Witherspoon from Election.
Yes, yeah, and visually it looks exactly the same. Like it's that type of character. But yeah, so they meet Ricky, they see him, and they vomit, and now Ricky is all depressed because he's like, what the fuck are we going to do? How are we going to get out of this? He thinks that the people from Everything Except Shoes Corporation is eventually going to find out where he is and come rescue him because he's one of the best stars. He's got kind of an ego. He's a little bit of a narcissist.
Oh, he's very narcissistic for no reason. But no, yeah, so he's feeling all down about himself and all of that, and that's where Ortiz comes in. The dog boy, who is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves took $2 million for this role.
He's uncredited. He's not
uncredited.
In the credits.
He didn't want his name on it.
Well, you could tell it's him. I mean, he's in full suit.
He's in full dog boy.
Yes.
Doing his best to try to be Che Guevara.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a certain tilt to his head sometimes that's just Ted. Like it's that era of Keanu
mannerisms,
Reeves,
the way he holds himself, puts his
like,
arms out and shit. Yeah, he looks like Ted from Bill and Ted.
As dog.
The way that he scratches his ear with his foot.
Yeah.
And that weird shit he gets into with Julie. I'm like, oh god. Okay. Anyways. And Ernie's just like, oh my god, kill me.
You're on top of me. You're on top of me.
So they meet Ortiz.
He's like the leader of the freaks. He's like head boy.
Is he?
Yeah, they introduce him as like he's in charge of them all.
That's it. So it immediately goes into this like Hollywood Squares,
like literal,
game show.
Yeah, in the barn outhouse thing, because that's his way of introducing all the freaks.
Yeah, with Ernie and Julie.
Well, it's because Ricky and them are bummed out that they're freaks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, you don't have to be sad. You can play Hollywood Squares with the freaks.
Yeah.
Being a freak is awesome. Look at these guys. And then, I think that's just a clever way to, because like I said, there are far too many freaks in this movie. There's too many characters. Like there's a lot of characters in this movie. So introducing them like this it's so much better
helpful. Than like one at a time. It's more distinctive. It's a really quick way to rattle off a lot of people in an engaging way
with the characters and get you familiar with them immediately. I think it was very
Who's your favorite freak out of the gang that's already there when they arrive?
Not counting the main
characters.
Ortiz probably.
Okay.
I like Ortiz. I mean, as far as like visually goes, they're all visually interesting, with the exception of Rosie and like the frog man, who is just literally.
He's just a guy in a scuba suit.
I like the cowboy.
Cowboy is good.
John Hawkes is fucking badass.
Yeah.
I love Deadwood. He was he was a good part of the new True Detectives season.
Yes, I agree.
He was a good part. There weren't many other good parts about it.
Yeah.
Shit. What else? Oh, Eastbound and Down. Just the way he fucking acts towards everything that Kenny Powers is doing to him, like the way he plays off of it, and how he just gets slowly angrier and angrier at his. John Hawkes is an amazing actor. This is his magnum opus, man. As the cowboy,
he's great, and that's another
just
costume
look
that's
into
so
your
good.
heart.
Yeah, your heart, your heart.
So
you go ahead.
You could say that like the cowboy is like the heart of the group,
because he is.
They all have their roles that they play.
Yeah, because he's a cow. Like he is. He's
also telepathic.
Boy. He is. That's true.
And none of
he's the link between.
Well, he said a lot of freaks have ESP.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think that Ricky's.
Who's your favorite? We didn't let you say
the Hammer.
Oh yeah,
because it's fucking funny. Either that or Bobcat Goldthwait, the sock puppet.
Yes.
I love Bobcat Goldthwait usually, anyways. For whatever
Shakes
reason,
the clown is.
I fucking adore him in most things that he's in. So, and I mean, obviously, if I don't know, anybody who knows him, the moment he opens his mouth, like, you're like, oh, there he is. Like, even though, it's a sock puppet with like the little like googly eye things.
Sockhead.
Yeah.
That's his name.
With like a man body.
Which again, this costume that had to be a pain in the ass to make work.
Well, yeah, because the guy had to be like
because it's two people
down in there
in this costume or working the costume at least.
I don't know how that works.
Because one of them is the body, and then the other one is puppeteering the head, which is just a hand with a sock on it, like a sock puppet. It's incredible looking, nosy. I don't like looking at nosy. I don't like noses. I don't like nose hair. I don't just picture a man that his head is mostly a nose.
Yeah.
The costume is great.
It's very well done.
Aside from that, like, he doesn't have anything to do in this movie.
He looks like Neil from The Young Ones if he was just a nose.
Yeah, he looks like there was a Toxic Avenger cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There was another character
the blue guy that wore the aviator cap.
Yes, he looks exactly like that thing. I had the action figure.
That's how I was introduced to Toxic Avenger. Was Toxic Crusaders.
Me too. Yes, the cartoons. Exactly how
they hold up too, man. I mean,
I haven't seen them in 30 years.
I think they're okay. Well, they're on YouTube. Check them out.
This movie, by the way, is on YouTube in full. Like, just look up Freaked 1993.
Yeah, there's
movie.
There's a
it's on there.
Huge disclaimer here because this was released on VHS. From what I understand, when they released it at Suncoast record stores, it was packaged with like these PVC figures, which is the only way to get those, and they are expensive as hell online because I was going to buy them, but I'm not spending $600
on 4
for a
little resin figures.
Pack of 4. But then there was
He will accept them as a gift, though.
I will absolutely, because
I'd like to send them into him.
I would love to have them just on a shelf somewhere. But,
yeah, let's go ahead and get that started. The people sending us free shit. I feel like that's where we're at. Yeah. So go ahead and
and then there was a DVD release, which is among collectors like the highly sought after version of this because it has like tons of bonus shit in it. Which again, the bonus features are available on YouTube. And then the Blu-ray release, which is literally just the movie and the trailer and nothing else, no bonus features. So I think that Alex Winter is trying to get some kind of release through like Arrow or one of those companies, Shout Factory, that handle these types of things so that we can get like a proper 4K release of this with the bonus features. But if you are a collector and you're listening to this, just know that the DVDs, the Blu-rays, they're out of print. They're a little expensive. So take that as you will. But it is free on YouTube, which is where we watched it.
Yeah.
And it is the 4K transfer from the Blu-ray. You're not missing anything.
It's great.
Yeah, it's a very well done transfer of the movie on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there.
But yeah, no, like the reason I like the hammer is because it's the most fucking ridiculous. Because like as you're introduced to the various freaks, you kind of see how they got to be here.
They tell their story of how they became a freak.
In this one, Scruggs literally goes into a hardware store and picks up a wrench like off the display.
Drops it into a paper bag, like a lunch bag.
I'm gonna smother you, whatever. And then he turns it into a hammer.
It was like him shopping at a hardware store.
Yes, literally.
But why would he put it in his own paper bag immediately?
Maybe he stole it.
But
I don't know.
It's just one of those ridiculous moments.
It was a good shot, and it was funny.
It's so stupid that it made me laugh because he's not a special.
And the way the characters are all like, "Oh man, that's
terrible, man." Terrible. Because they're like empathizing with the hammer. Because I mean, it's just a regular wrench to a regular hammer. It's not. But anyways, it's just fucking stupid.
So yes, the freaks are telling their stories about how they became freaks.
The worm costume's really good too.
Yeah.
Like the makeup on that. It's like really seamless, like his face into like
worm. The worm costume is probably, with the exception of late in the movie when we get the
end freaks.
Yeah, I think the worm costume is probably the best done costume.
The cowboy's
visually.
Really good.
Cowboy
is good.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this is done very well.
Yeah.
And I watched a little behind the scenes documentary thing, and it's like every single person in these costumes on set had something wrong. You know, Alex Winter, the prosthetics for the mouth, they were extremely painful. Like The worm costume, like the guy, he was just sweating his ass off, and he was uncomfortable as hell. Like Keanu Reeves as Dogboy was itchy the whole fucking time.
The worm couldn't wipe his ass.
He's just desperately trying to get someone to wipe his ass for him.
Yeah, so I mean, kudos to the cast in this because they put up with a lot for this to work, and I think it's awesome looking. This movie is just awesome looking. It's right up my alley. I say all the time, these movies from like 85 to 95 where they were just taking crazy risks and doing this type of shit, and I miss it, and they're never going to do it again. I watched that Destroy All Neighbors thing that Alex Winter did. I think it came out earlier this year, but it had kind of the same quality to this. There was a lot of practical effects in it, but there was also a lot of digital shit too, and it just, I don't know. The story on it wasn't great, but I just miss this era of movie where special effects, practical effects were like really, really taken as far as they could go.
I'm really appreciate it as an art form because
this is definitely like watching this movie. It is an art movie. It's not like, this is art to me. It's not going to win awards. It's got a cult following now. It failed miserably in theaters, and I'll explain that at the end. But this movie is just one of those films that just has a special place in my heart, and just always has since I was like really young.
All right, back to the movie. What's happening?
Well, it's showtime now.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, have we met the Rastafarian eyeballs yet?
No, that's later.
That's later? Okay.
That's later.
I would like to point something out real fast.
I wrote a timeline down when I watched it last night.
Good job.
Thank you.
We have now talked about this movie as long as the movie.
Yes.
So there you go. It does not overstay its welcome. It is that quick.
Unlike this podcast.
Yeah, unlike this podcast. I'm sure you're done hearing me talk, but anyways, continue.
No,
I just want to point that out.
Continue. Again, it's not me. But no, yeah. So yeah, we've met everybody. Do we want to talk about Rosie? Do you want to talk about that?
Let's go ahead.
And not to be that person, but I don't like the inclusion of the pinhead. Microcephaly is like a thing.
Right.
It's not
These are
even
not freaks. These are people.
Well, not even so much that it's there, but their portrayal of someone with microcephaly, like the real people who actually are born with this, and a lot of them were in freak shows. Like that's legit. There's historical, whatever. But they were almost entirely, from what I understand, very gentle, very sweet, very quiet, and just kind of, it was just how they looked that made them, that put them in freak shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, they weren't mentally ill. They weren't violent.
And so, her whole, like, during the showtime, her, like, performance is, like, her just, like, with crossed eyes, like, that you did the voice. Can you give me a rendition of Rosie's performance? Thank you, Chucky. Like yeah. And, to me, I'm like, God, because I didn't know much about this, but I used to watch American Horror Story before it like lost its fucking mind.
Yeah.
And there were people in a couple of the seasons,
Wasn't there one called Freak Show?
Well, yeah, there was. Yeah. And Pepper was in that, but she was also in Asylum, who was a character with microcephaly. The actress didn't have it.
That was handled well.
Yes, that's how they were. But like seeing Pepper in that show led me to actually do research and like what, because I'm interested in that type of thing. And they weren't like this. So that, that I was like, all right.
And there's a scene where she's like hammering something to a wall and it just turns out to be her own hand.
Yeah.
Like she's cross-eyed through a lot of this. She acts like she's mentally fucked up. And it's just, this character doesn't do anything in the movie.
No.
She doesn't move the plot along.
Her makeup is on point.
Yeah, her makeup's fine, but like,
anyways.
This is one of those characters that could just not be in the film.
You ever seen that movie Dodgeball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that actress Missy Pyle?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You remember her in Dodgeball?
Yes.
She looked a lot like the pinhead in this movie.
I can see that.
The prosthetic teeth and the nose and the eyebrow and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, this movie, it's not the most sensitive movie. It came out in an era
and that's
where
fine. I just that specific. I mean, the whole concept of a freak show, you're not really supposed to talk about anymore, anyway. So like, but just that specific one, I was like, all right, because the rest of them, I think, are so out there that there's no fucking real world counterpart for any of this shit.
No.
Well, I guess the dog boy technically, but whatever.
The bearded lady.
And the bearded lady. Oh my God, we forgot about Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T.
Okay, Mr. T.
Pity you, fool.
Oh, I know. I'm so sorry. I love him as the bearded lady.
Yeah, Mr. T.
Bearded lady.
His story is that he shows up. He's a truck driver. He shows up, and then like Elijah.
But he's actually like trans. Like it turns out, because he realized that he was a woman inside all along, and now he's living his truth.
So, so Scruggs didn't even put any Zygrot on him.
No.
He just put on a dress
He just
and
put on a
joined the
dress.
rest of
Well,
the group.
I think he.
So he's the only one that's there voluntarily.
He's
He's like Paul Scheer in Year One. Oh, I volunteer.
Also, I would like to point out. Okay, when it comes to Rosie the Pinhead.
Oh, are we back to that?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've already established that like this is a genetic thing.
Microcephaly.
Yes,
Yeah.
people really have this genetic disease. So are we to believe that she is just a pinhead who showed up and joined the freak show?
Well, and that
or
is-
did he create her? Because
I would tend to think
He Beetlejuiced her.
Yeah.
He put a little zygote on the top of her head and it made it shrink up.
And maybe that's what it is.
Made
He
her hair
started out
shrink.
with a more traditional style freak show. So you have like the pinhead, the bearded lady, and stuff like that. But then as time went on, he got more creative, or maybe that's when the Zygrot came in. So then he made like the worm and the cowboy and all of that shit.
right.
It could be either way. I mean, I don't know how much world building.
I think he kidnapped two of the members of Bad Brains to be I and I.
The eyeballs. Well, there's
Get
another group of characters we got to introduce.
I and I.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
and I.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I.
Yeah.
So
Because that's the inspiration for I and I. Obviously, I love
they're
Bad
the
Brains. I'm sorry.
Rastafari. What is it? They call them the
Rastafari.
Yeah, Rastafaris.
They're guards, but they come in later.
They're just two bloodshot eyeballs with submachine guns.
And the pupils are what talk.
These look incredible too. Yeah,
that looks so creepy.
Yeah.
The way
It does.
it reminds me of the
very well done.
It reminds me of the space people in Dune. You know that thing with the vagina mouth in David Lynch's Dune.
Yes,
the way the pupil talks.
Yes,
and it's creepy.
This is done very well to the point where when I rewatched it as an adult, I was like, "Is that like a computer effect?" And it's not.
And it's not. It's so
I think
smooth.
it's just like a cloudy sheet over what's behind it.
Yeah,
and it's just a hole, and they just move the hole.
Yeah,
and
because
it's kind of cloudy,
kind of masks it a little.
It masks it.
Yeah.
It would be easy to do. Well, it wouldn't be easy to do, but
they've got Rastafarian hats
and
on
accents.
them, and accents. I had. Do you remember Mad Balls?
Yeah.
I had the eyeball when I was a kid.
I can see that.
That's what these things look like.
I think I had the eyeball as well.
Yeah. So they're just two giant eyeballs. They're actually the eyeballs in the big head of Elijah in the middle.
But that's later in the movie.
Yeah. They are always watching.
Let's jump ahead to that point.
Well, if it's showtime.
They are.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to talk about the Richard III soliloquy?
I like the crowd.
That was the winter of our discontent and all of that.
God, that was...
So now we've got our first performance.
Was that him trying to show off or something?
Well, because who was
I meant the actor.
Alex Winter?
Yeah.
No, I think he was playing it up. Because
that's another inside joke because Alex Winter did a lot of like stage shit when he was younger.
So he did Shakespeare and stuff like that?
Maybe not
so
Shakespeare.
That's kind
he
of
was in a
poking fun
Peter
at
Pan.
himself?
He was in like some adaptation of Peter Pan. He was in like two other things that were like widely known. He's British, by the way, which I didn't know.
What?
Yeah, he's from London.
Alex Winter?
Yes.
But he grew up here, right?
He has dual citizenship between the
what
US.
the fuck?
Yeah. And
he has a
the
British
UK.
accent?
So he chose that accent?
I guess. I don't know.
What?
I always thought that he was just like some
It's
California
California
guy.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have never known. But yeah, look it up. He's British.
What the? My mind is blown.
So he started out doing like theater. He went to, what was it? He went to NYU film school.
Yeah, they have a note. That's a really good film.
That's where he met Tom Stern, who is the co-director of this film. They've done a lot of stuff, which was the Idiot Box television series on MTV. Mm-hmm. Tom Stern directed American Werewolf in Paris from 1997.
I remember that.
They've also co-directed music videos, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, Alex Winter was
crazy.
Like a legit
stage actor.
Yeah, stage actor.
Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, because
Bill and Ted put him on the map, and that's what kind of forced him in this direction of weird, esoteric stuff.
Because Ricky was backstage not wanting to go on, and they're like, you have to. Everybody has an act. Like, the nose guy is just in a fucking gorilla costume, which, what? How does his nose fit in there?
The joke here is that Nosy is like the most fucked up, mutated looking one of them, right? He's got a giant nose for a head. So you would think that you're going there to see a giant nose-headed freak, and instead his performance is just in a gorilla costume.
Like Ballo from the Mighty Boosh, and just like dancing around
doing
on
nothing
stage.
Interesting.
What the fuck?
It just looks like a guy in a costume, like falling around. It's stupid.
Anyways, but no, yeah. So they all have their jobs to do. And who was it? Was it Ortiz or was it Cowboy who was talking to Ricky backstage to like inspire him to get on and do it?
I believe it was Cowboy.
Because both of them kind of play like an inspirational role one way or the other. But anyways, yeah. So like, they're like, oh, well, this is your chance to, show your acting chops and like really like, and he's like, oh, okay. So
no, it was that Nigel whatever guy, wasn't it?
No, he was just in the audience. The professor?
Yeah, that they keep subtitling for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. No, he was just in the audience. It was either Ortiz or Cowboy. I don't remember but one of them was talking to him backstage.
I mean, maybe it was Cowboy.
Because Professor Nigel, matter. Yeah, anyways, he like gets in full like medieval Shakespeare, like velvet doublet and hose and all of that stuff.
It reminded me. Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to say that the Nigel guy reminded me of the guy from the beginning of Rocky Horror.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, like the narrator.
Was he wearing fishnets, though?
Yes.
Was Professor Nigel.
Yes.
Not the guy in Rocky Horror, because obviously he is. Because he has the best fishnet reveal in Rocky Horror, but never mind. I love it. Just anyways, I see it in my mind. So he does the famous soliloquy from Richard III, now is the winter of our discontent. Like that one.
Yes.
And he like the entire audience is like spellbound. And you've got people providing commentary like Professor Nigel, whatever, for reasons. I don't know. It's a very kind of like Spinal Tap kind of cutaway,
it's definitely
mockumentary type thing.
It's a running joke, a running gag that just doesn't work.
Oh, I don't mind it. I think
it's fine.
It's fine. It doesn't bother me. And he like brings the house down and, yay, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's when,
your boy's in the audience at that point.
Yeah. Gibby Haynes.
Yeah.
Lead singer of Butthole Surfers. That he shows up because
Nintendo player extraordinaire.
Yeah. When Sockhead is doing his little thing, he's singing a song while he's like ringing little bells.
Wait a second, polka.
Yeah. Yes. And after he's done, he falls and his sock gets caught on the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes off, so he's just a hand.
Oh.
And that's when Gibby Haynes stands up and he just calls him, what is it? He's a faker or something. I don't know. Anyways.
There's other people in the audience.
There's a hand under there.
Yeah, that type of thing. This guy's a phony.
Mr. T gives out like good makeup advice, like he does a lady's makeup
tips, and there's people in the audience like taking notes.
Yeah. And it's just
Didn't the Frogman play the what is that, the ding 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 ding, the fucking xylophone?
I don't think Frogman did anything.
Yeah, he did.
Somebody was playing the xylophone, weren't they?
I think it was Frogman.
Why do
Are you thinking of the bells that Sockhead was ringing? I don't remember anybody playing a xylophone, but I could be wrong.
It's Mandela.
The weirdest Mandela effect yet.
Mandela.
Oh.
So yeah, what happens here? Because I think the EES comes in. That's what it is.
That's later. That's the next show.
No, that's this show. The EES comes in, and that's when Ricky sees the leader of their gang, and he's like, "Oh, they can save me now," and he jumps down.
Oh, that one guy from EES.
Yes.
Okay,
I thought
you meant. Okay.
And Ricky is happy to see him because he's like, "Oh, they're here to rescue me."
Yeah.
And he goes and talks to him, and the CEO or whatever of EES is just like, "We don't want anything to do with you now. You're a fucking freak of nature."
He's just a guy, because he's not like the head guy.
No, and then Ricky rips his head off.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see like the bone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So now, at this point, Ricky is now realizing that he is not going to be rescued by EES, which is what he thought was going to happen, because this whole time... So the idea here is that Stewie is going to sell the story, Ricky's story, to whatever newspaper he can so that he can get it printed, and the FBI is going to see it and they're going to come to his rescue.
Right.
And so he goes to a bunch of prominent papers. None of them want anything to do with it. He winds up going to like one of those weekly world news type things, the
National Enquirer, like the
the supermarket tabloid things, and then they pick up the story and roll with it. And as Stewie is leaving, the Everything Except Shoes Corporation has been following him around, and they wind up kidnapping him, I guess, so he can't spread the word.
Right.
He can't actually write the story. They just agreed to print it. He still has to write the story.
Yes.
So they kidnap him so that he can't tell the story. Ricky can't get rescued.
Right.
And now they are on their way to the freak show, because they're working with Elijah to give him the Zygrot 24 that he needs.
We learned that the next day when Ricky is invited in. That's after the escape attempt.
Scruggs is like the black people in Compton and places in the 80s, with an EES is like the U.S. government or the CIA
with the drugs,
selling the crack to them. So they're trying to get Zygrot out there illegally before it's been...
Well, yeah. I mean, you find out later why they're even working together.
Right. The whole point of the Everything Except Shoes Corporation at this point, they want to turn humanity into these perfect workers.
Yeah, that's revealed much later. Yeah.
Yes. That's why they're working with Elijah. They know that he has the ability. His machine can transform people. He has the
machine,
people.
And they have the Zygrot.
Yes, and they need the machine. And their plan is to come and take over the machine and get rid of Elijah.
Yeah.
And the freaks.
Yeah. But we don't actually find that out until way later. So after the show, it's the next morning, and Ricky now knows that EES is not going to come save him.
Right. And that whole thing with the EES CEO or whatever coming in there, when he rips his head off, that causes a disturbance during the freak show, and everyone freaks out and runs out of the place.
Yes. So he realizes he's not getting rescued. He's got to get out of here himself. So he goes outside of the outhouse barn and sees a milkman. And, delivering milk like milkmen are wont to do.
Yes.
And he's like, aha, a plan. So, his, obviously his plan is he, steals the milkman's outfit.
Yeah, but how does he get him to get... How does he get him in the shed?
I don't think we see that.
Talking about some actress, and she was like, what do I care about her being in there? And he's like, she's naked.
No. He just took a shit that looks just like Kim Basinger.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And
what
he's
do I care? And he's like, she's naked. Oh, I gotta see that.
Because then he goes inside and he says, oh, it looks more like Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
which I guess is kind of an inside joke because Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder's relationship.
Yeah. Well, there's in jokes in here too, because much earlier in the movie, it made me think of Brooke Shields, Sky Daly, asks, if they were playing a movie on the plane, when they're coming to Santa
Lagoon.
The Return to the Blue Lagoon. And she's like, oh, I heard that sucks because she wasn't in the sequel. Little shit like that. It's
definitely actors poking fun at themselves.
Yeah, which is funny.
Previous roles they've done or even friends that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he has the milkman outfit, and it almost fits. You know, he's got like his shoulder torn over here because he's fucking like misformed and
It's
whatever.
a totally different outfit.
No, it's totally him.
Yeah, it is definitely a different fit.
Yeah, no,
for sure.
absolutely.
He had a needle and thread in that. They're one of the. I bet he got Mr. T to fix it
There
up
you
for
go.
him.
You're not supposed to think it. You're not supposed to
There's
overthink.
a lot of things
you're not supposed
to think about it. But yeah, so he starts.
It's in the deleted scenes.
Oh,
Is it really?
No.
I was gonna say, where did you see deleted scenes?
So he, so he's gonna try and make his escape, but that's when you see the twirling head, the big head of Scruggs, the wooden head or whatever. Suddenly, the eyeballs are missing from it.
Yeah, they keep following him around, and he's noticing that the eyeballs are looking at him.
Yeah, so he's like trying to stay out of thing, but then the eyeballs are gone, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And that's where you meet the
Rastafaris.
Rastafaris.
I and I. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And, so they have machine guns and everything.
Yep.
And so he's like, oh shit. But before, like, he's trying to hide from them. And then he comes across like all the other freaks, all in milkman costumes. I need it noted that the Hammer also has a milkman costume.
The Hammer has a fucking
and
milkman
complete
costume.
with little hat.
So they all had the same idea. They were going to just
it's a lot of milkmen.
escape by
I
becoming
liked how the Worm's milkman costume had a belt on it, which just had milk bottles in it, like they were grenades
well, he couldn't
or
carry
something.
it, you know, so he had to adapt.
And so
Keanu Reeves doesn't like this. Wolf Boy doesn't like the fact that there are
He's
12 milkmen.
That's fine.
That's a possibility.
13?
But 13
of us
milkmen?
No, that's
possibly
ridiculous. So, Ricky, you're going to have to stay back. We're all going to escape without you.
But then they start. Is this the point where they start fighting each other as milkmen?
Yes.
And Scruggs looks out the window and he's like, 13 milkmen on the same route. No wonder they fight.
But this is the fight between them, and then Dog Boy gets distracted by like a squirrel.
Literally a squirrel.
Off.
He says squirrel.
Yeah,
and then runs off, and then the Rastafaris are shooting after him, and Ortiz like runs out. Like he gets through the gate and he's gone, and they chase him.
Yeah.
So
I like their little run.
Yeah. And their little like the back of the eyeball, like the veins or whatever, kind of wiggles like a tail sometimes. It's kind of cute.
The nerve ending.
Yeah.
Is this the point where like Scruggs has a meeting with Ricky?
Yeah, he brings Ricky in, and because like the Toad guy.
Because that's when he gets the phone call and he's talking to the laughing man. Who,
yes, and that's where he asks if Ricky would like some fiddle faddle, and he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
What was this meeting about?
Well, I think
is this where he was telling him that he was planning on making him a bigger freak so that he could eliminate the other freaks? Because he finds out about that plan. And I think that's where this happens.
He was talking to the laughing man about it, though, Scruggs.
He overheard him on the phone.
Yeah,
okay.
Which was right next. Oh, yeah, because he's writing it down. Like, Scruggs is writing it down.
Right.
On his pad. And then he, like, steals the pad, like, right behind him.
Yes.
Like, he just...
Yeah, he's written down his plan. And then, yes, Ricky just takes it off of the pad that he was writing
literally right behind him. So yeah, that's how he finds out of his plan to turn Ricky into the evil, big evil freak that will kill all the other
now
freaks.
With Ortiz gone chasing after the squirrel, he has now become
takes the leadership role.
Yes, he's the lead of the pack of freaks or whatever, and he's explaining to them what exactly his plan is to eliminate them, and now they need to go and
yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do because obviously, and some of them are like, well, let's kill him now. The nose guy, he was like, let's just kill him now.
Good plan. By the way,
solid. Yeah, that is a choice.
Yeah, and he talks him out of killing him or whatever, and says that we could figure out another plan. I guess their plan was to steal some of the Zygrot.
Well, the worm had done some math. I don't know how, but they had figured out. With movie logic, how to like counteract that, right? They're going to make an antidote, ointment antidote using the Zygrot and Scruggs' machine to create, in case he is dosed with it, he can then be dosed with the good shit, and then that'll negate it. So, because the plan is, so then they set their plan into motion where, the worm digs a tunnel underneath up into the shed, and
because Toad is outside, he's keeping guard.
Right, and you've got the Rastafaris too.
Right, so they need to tunnel underneath this place to get into the laboratory.
Right.
To steal the Zygrot.
Well, yeah, to make the ointment, the antidote ointment there. And they have a coffee can of Cafe Bustelo that they're going to put the shit in. So, yeah, they tunnel underneath and everybody's working on different projects. It's a whole montage of working together and all of this. And there's a song about freaks playing. And I know at one point Scruggs comes in and he's like, shut up the fucking music. It's too loud. And, then it's that whole it's really playing in the scene type thing. Right. They turn off the music. But yeah, no. So they go to the shed via worm tunnel. And, they put there's this whole thing, they start up the machine and it's like, woo, woo.
Yeah, they think they're making too much noise. And
then Scruggs, it cuts to Scruggs watching TV and it's some cop show that's also going, woo,
yes.
woo, at the same time.
So he's completely unaware, but they still think they're making too much noise.
Yeah, and but then Ricky finds the master volume setting on the machine and turns it down.
But
and
then
he's like, oops.
But then he accidentally knocks over a styrofoam cup.
Yeah, after they make the ointment, the ointment's being made.
Yes.
And it's one of the teeny little,
it's just a solo looking,
styrofoam
it's an 8-ounce cup.
Yeah, it's the kind of little styrofoam cup you get if you have to get coffee at a really shitty job with the powdered creamer. It's
or
giving me flashbacks.
You're getting your tires changed.
Yes, yeah. it's that kind of cup.
But
and he just casually knocks it over.
You have to stick out your pinky at the end because it only fits 3 fingers.
Yeah. Yeah,
so you always look dainty.
The sound of this styrofoam cup hitting the ground. Yeah. That triggers Elijah and he turns around
immediately.
Styrofoam cup.
It's a great delivery.
And then he tries to go into the lab. And
because he was eating popcorn.
Yes, he's been eating popcorn. So his hands are all greasy and he can't turn the knob.
And they're watching the knob slowly turn and they're freaking out because the stuff's still being made. And they're like, oh shit. And the worm and whoever else. I think is it Ernie and Julie who are with them?
Yeah, so Ricky tells them, y'all go ahead and go. I'll catch up when this is finished.
Yeah.
And he's trying his hardest to get out of there before Scruggs opens the door.
It's nail biting, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so as he's getting into the hole to go back into the freak whatever.
Freak TARDIS. He loses control and the coffee can rolls away. He drops the coffee can,
it rolls out of his reach
and he's like,
as
shit.
Elijah is entering the room, so he has to leave it behind.
Yeah.
But after he gets out of the tunnel, because the tunnel is collapsing, so the other freaks are worried that he's going to die in the collapse or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he finally gets back to their dormitory, he tells them that, hey, I wasn't able to get it. I lost the coffee cup. And they're pissed off at him. He's like, but I found a bag of macaroons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they throw a party.
Macarons. They call them macaroons. And last night when we were watching this,
I don't know the fucking difference.
You asked me to explain the difference on the podcast between macarons and macaroons.
I'm dying to know.
You're not. But you asked me to do this. So sorry, Chucky, you get to deal with this. So I used to work at a patisserie that specialized in macarons, right? So I've made many a macaron in my day.
Some of them look like penises.
Well, those were a special order. That was for a bachelorette
party. Those were micro macarons.
Yeah. No, those literally were penises for a bachelorette party.
And
there were some extra and slightly misshapen ones, so I brought those home.
They were delicious.
They were tasty. So macarons are what they eat in the movie. They're little pink macarons, right? Okay. So those are made with almond flour and egg whites and shit like that, right? It's a really light, crisp cookie. And there's a whole process. Let me go into great detail about how the foot's going to be good on a macaron and all this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Hi.
It's apparently really easy to fuck this up.
No, well, they are they're easy if you know how to do it, but you got to bang the tray down, get the air bubbles out, whatever. And make sure they rest. You need the skin to develop on the top. Otherwise, the foot won't be proper when you bake them. Anyways. So that's macaron. Macaroons, and the reason this came up is because
right?
later on someone said, is it the worm, he doesn't eat any of the macarons, it's macarons, they call them macaroons, because they didn't have enough coconut. Well, coconut macaroons are made with sweetened like coconut flakes and condensed milk and shit like that, and they're like little piles.
He didn't eat the macaroons because he didn't like macaroons.
Well, I know he said
and
they needed more coconut.
Said there wasn't enough coconut in it at the end.
Someone made a coconut reference, which unless they're coconut macarons, like with that, which they weren't because they're pink and usually the flavors are color coded. But whatever. No, yeah. So that's the difference. And the coconut macaroons are little piles, like kind of like sweetened, and they're
drop cookies.
They're delicious. I like both macarons and macaroons, but they are very different. So thank you for this has been Jess's baking corner. Let's return to the movie.
So anyways, they eat the macarons.
Yeah.
And it looks like they like threw a party because they were
party. There's confetti.
Where did they get all that booze and liquor and
so much shit, man?
I think it was just after eating the macarons they passed out, but they were just wearing like party hats and they had like party favors.
There was liquor bottles and cans laying about.
It was a huge bash.
Okay, well,
but,
they're all passed out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what comes next.
Well, I mean, it pretty much at that point. I mean, not a whole lot happened.
And this is where EES has the meeting.
Yes.
And Stewie's in the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So EES, like the head guy and everything.
They captured Stewie. They brought him with them.
They come to meet with Scruggs, and it's revealed that the head of EES is the Laughing Man who Scruggs has been talking to on the phone. And, they go over their evil plan,
That is William Sadler's character.
Right. So, yeah, they want to work with him to, like you said earlier, create the perfect workforce. Like, like a 9-armed secretary who can just, do all of these things. And like a worker drone with no genitalia and no,
who doesn't need to use the restroom.
Yeah, who can just like keep working. And so their plan is to, and they even say that we could just put a couple of drops in the water supply of a town and, just like change everybody into the, it's this whole big taking over the world plan.
Right.
So.
But if everyone's a worker, then who's a consumer?
So EES is Vault-Tec.
Yes. Yeah. In a lot of ways. Yeah. And, if no one's a consumer, then they're like, well, okay, well, we'll just grow some of those too.
Right.
They say that.
This sounds like a dumb plan.
Well, and Scruggs doesn't like it because he's like, well, where's the art in this? Where's the individuality? Like, this is boring. And
the freaks I create are a work of art.
Yeah.
I am a god. That type of shit. So now they're double crossing him because their whole plan here is, I don't even know why they had this meeting other than padding, because their whole plan was to
That is a little later on when they double cross him because they're in the tent when he gets the goo bazooka, because that's the last note I have.
Yeah.
So it's time for the big show, basically. And they show that that's right. Stewie is, they bring him in and they put him in a cage with a 2-headed chicken. And then he just he like astral projects or whatever to Ricky, has
telling
this
him, I'm
like
here.
soul bond.
I'm here to
moment.
save you.
Yeah. And
what
Ricky tells him to like, get the fucking coffee can that's over there. Get the shit, yo. And
so he breaks out of the cage.
He just like walks out of the cage.
He's
like
crawling under the table, and there's like a little gag where he touches like the foot of Elijah, and then Elijah looks at the CEO.
Yeah, William Sadler.
He's like coming on to him.
Yeah, and then Sadler's got this weird little smile he keeps doing. He's like, Phew. And so it's like, ugh.
Yeah, so and then he goes and grabs the coffee can. He crawls back under the table and then touches the other guy's foot. Now he thinks they're flirting. Like they both think that they're flirting with each other. Yeah. It's really weird.
It seems like the EES guy's kind of into it, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely into it, right?
He's totally into it. Yeah. And that's when Sadler's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And so none of that goes anywhere. It's just kind of a throwaway gag.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of funny. So, yeah, and then Stewie gets out and he starts trying to walk out the door. And it's this whole thing like he's right the fuck there. Like even before, like he like lays flat on the ground and the guy like steps over him to go give the presentation. Yeah. And like he's right the fuck
it's very clear that he's there and they're just oblivious to his existence.
Anyways, they finally notice him. He has the coffee can, but they finally are like, oh, how did he get out?
Who cares?
So
they don't even care.
No. They're just like, oh, here you are. So now it's the big show. And
so we're back at the like main arena, the theater.
Yeah, the theater.
Because Scruggs now he's got the freaks in a cage. He's got Ricky, tied up to a chair.
And
because
he's going to
going
evilify him.
Yeah, his plan here, this show is going to be, he is going to inject Ricky with more of this shit, and it's going to turn him into this giant super mutant, and he is going to kill the other freaks on stage for a live audience.
Yes. It's the ultimate show, apparently.
So during this, Stewie is trying to, he's telepathically, he's telepathically talking with Ricky, saying, I'm here, I'm in the audience, but he can't see him because of the lighting.
Lights. Yeah.
The lights are in his face, and he can't see where Stewie is or anything like that. So Stewie finally
he stands up
to yell at him and get his attention. And one of the other...
There's like just this biker asshole behind him who's like, get the fuck down, kid. And he takes the coffee can from him and dumps all the shit on Stewie.
Right. Which is now morphing Stewie into a giant freak. And this looks amazing.
Dude,
this costume, this scene is worth it to watch this whole movie.
Yeah.
Because the costume that Ricky and Stewie are in, they kind of look like, you remember Ratfink?
Yeah, they do look like Ratfink.
They look like Ratfink characters.
They do.
They're incredible looking, and they're very
They also remind me of that Twilight Zone movie. You remember
The Rabbit?
The Rabbit.
Oh,
yes. That rabbit that terrified me.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, that was one of the scariest things I saw as a kid. Was that
I only saw that movie once when I was a kid, and I wouldn't watch it again afterwards.
It's the look on his face, and then he's violently shaking,
twitching. Yeah,
that is unsettling.
Oh yeah.
I like that we're all permanently scarred by rabbits from childhood in different ways. Mine isn't that one. Mine's Watership Down, but still.
But yeah, we get the
the Beast always kind of scared me a little bit.
From X-Men?
From Beauty and the Beast?
No, the terrible Beast, the hideous Beast.
From what?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh,
I am
really
super.
Yeah, man, I was. Oh yeah, and all those rabbits that got slaughtered next to my house.
Oh my God, they scream.
There was a rabbit farm next to my house growing up, and one day the man and woman moved away, and instead of finding plates for the rabbits, they just slaughtered them all in the front yard en masse, like at least 100 of them all at once.
Oh my God!
Killed them all. And it was a summer afternoon, and I was just maybe 6 years old, just hearing
oh my fucking God! Does they scream like women
for like straight hour and a half? Just
that is one of the worst things I have ever heard.
It's like the Silence of the Lambs.
Just imagine you as a 6-year-old just in bed staring at the ceiling.
The thing I was most about is he would never let me visit his rabbit hutch, to see the rabbits.
Yeah.
And then when he killed them, he could have given me at least one of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to make this sad.
No. I mean, I had a rabbit for 10 years. His name was Oliver, and I loved him very much.
Anyway, Stewie's about to kick some, Stewie's got all
Jack. So Stewie is like the ultimate freak of good, right? And then like Ricky is the ultimate freak of evil. And both of them, which again, you were talking about the costumes, like it doesn't matter how close you get, it looks fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Ricky in his ultimate form reminds me of is that Tales from the Dark Side movie. You remember the gargoyle?
Oh
yeah, the gargoyle.
Yeah, I love Tales from the Dark Side.
That was my favorite. That was my
good.
favorite one of that and
that
movie
me too.
anthology.
That
those four.
No,
those four stories. That gargoyle one stuck with me.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
meeting a woman that. Anyway, I had lots of weird dreams when I was a kid because of that movie.
This movie is, again, it's another one of those movies we've done that, like, this would fit right in as a Tales from the Crypt or a Tales from the Dark Side. Like, if you
this is a really goofy Tales from the Crypt episode.
Or if it wasn't quite as gross or with so many sexual references, which there's not a lot, but still, it like kind of goosebumps in a way. You know, like
Bill Sadler was one of the actors in the Tales from one of my favorite episodes. The one where the Executioner one. Do you remember that one? The Tales from the Crypt with the electrocution, like.
Oh wait, Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I do remember. That was him.
I believe so.
Weird. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome though. Yeah, I love Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And like I said,
I
this
bought
movie
you, maybe Mom did. Someone got you the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, you tried to.
We might do an episode on Tales from the Crypt. I mean, it's one of those things that like we'd have to pick a favorite episode and just discuss that.
I've got 2 right off the top of my head.
Oh, save it. We'll do it for sure. I'm down for a Tales from the Crypt episode. So yeah, we got the.
So they're fighting.
Yeah, they're fighting. Yeah. You've got these 2 awesome looking giant costumes fighting each other. Ricky, well, he gets the upper hand on Stewie, but at this point now the EES team is like, this is out of hand now. We've got to do something about this. So they try to attack Scruggs, who goes and gets a...
Yeah, they basically are like, we just want the machine. Like, fuck all this noise.
Yes,
we're just going to take the machine.
We don't care about this plan anymore. No. We're about to eliminate you and your freaks, and we're taking over this operation.
He's like, so you're double-crossing me, you corporate assholes, or something like that. He says it out loud, and then he goes to the special case that is like break-in case of double-crossing corporate assholes.
Yeah, it's like a fire axe type situation, but instead of an axe, it's got a water gun bazooka full of the Zygrod.
I ran out of space on my notes, so goo bazooka is the last thing that I wrote because
you're really proud of that term, aren't you?
I do.
You said it 3 times. Say it again.
No, fuck you. So he takes the implement and like sprays all the EES guys, and they go.
Yeah, they turn into a puddle of goo, and then they all morph together into a giant shoe,
eyeball covered shoe.
Yeah, with the tongue is the tongue.
Because the joke here is the company is everything except shoes,
and now they're shoe.
And now they're shoes. Yes, that's the joke. And
I don't know why they're everything except shoes. Maybe literally just for this gag.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, so they hop away and you don't see them again. That's the end of that.
So they are no longer a part of this movie. They're done with. Now we've got Ricky and Stewie fighting. Ricky's got the upper hand. He grabs a pole. He's about to stab Stewie with it. But before he can, Cowboy...
He hears the voice of Cowboy. Because earlier in the movie, Cowboy had said, because Ricky's talking shit about Stewie, and now he's a little troll, and he won't leave him alone. And he's like, well, you never know. Maybe if you let the troll into your heart.
Let him into your heart.
Then everything will be, maybe he can be helpful to you if you let him into your heart. And then it starts in your heart, your heart. Your heart, that kind of like echoing memory, but really then he turns around and Cowboy's just fucking saying it.
Yeah, he's saying it over and over.
Your heart.
That fucking gag.
Your heart.
So after hearing Cowboy say that, Ricky's overcome with emotion. He doesn't kill him. Then Scruggs does something.
Well, he's like, all right, fuckers, because it's
he's
clear,
gonna fight him.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yes, because it's clear his plan of getting evil Ricky to kill all the freaks isn't gonna work. So he's like, all right, final showdown, and he's like, all right, maybe he'll, I don't know, he was gonna do something to them, and they're saying how they're gonna leave and they're gonna escape and everything, and he's like, well, even if you did, it's not gonna do you any fucking good. Like, you don't have the antidote. Yeah. And they're like, antidote? What do you mean? And he was like, yeah, well, fuck you. I baked him into a big, delicious batch of macaroons.
Well, if you ask me, you skipped on the coconut.
Yeah. So now Scruggs knows that they already ate the macaroons.
Yeah. So
and he punches him in the top of the head.
Breaks his spine.
And breaks at least a couple vertebrae.
Yeah, he's like,
ew, my spine.
Yeah.
And then he nut kicks him through the tent.
Yeah.
And then he falls into a vat of the Zygrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Joker, the hand.
Yeah, the
or
hand
like
sinks.
End of Terminator 2. It's like hand sinks into the goo.
And at that point.
Or the from Fallout 1, from the Master sinking into the goo.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you say so.
A lot of goo sinkage. So
now the FBI shows up and they're like, what took you so long? And they're like, well, they're holding up one of those weekly world news paper things. They're like, well, there was this haunted house we had to go inspect. And then there was this thing.
That's fair.
You guys were on page 6. Yeah. So we're here now.
The Bat Boy.
Yeah. Good old
there you go. Bad Boy. But yeah, so now we have Scruggs who fell in the vat. He pops out of the vat and he's Brooke Shields' character.
He's Sky Daily. In the same, in the same outfit and everything.
Right.
And then it cuts back to modern, and current time.
He's it's her, but she's talking with his voice, saying how he's about to kill them all, and then the FBI shoots him.
Yeah, it shoots.
Yeah,
multiple times.
That's when they reveal all the character. Before that, they reveal all the freaks coming in as their human counter.
No. This isn't the talk show.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're about to cut to the talk show.
Yeah, after they shoot Scruggs in the vat of Zygrot.
Yeah. Because you think that's the end of it. Then it cuts back to the Sky Daily show. Because this whole time, Ricky has been in shadow with it
looks like his half of his face is a big old mutant.
The light on the set isn't working that's shined on him.
Right.
So it's just a silhouette of his fucked up, deformed looking character.
Yeah.
And when it cuts back, they fix the light and it turns it on.
Yeah, but right before they fix the light and turn it on, the shadow looks completely different. It looks like the cactus that's behind his head.
Absolutely. Because earlier, at the beginning of the movie,
it was a joke against continuity.
Oh, I know. Because when he moves, it's moving, so it's clear, but whatever.
But yeah, the joke here is that when the lights come on, he's back to his human form, and it's just a bunch of cactuses behind him that's causing it to look like the silhouette of his mutant character.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
If you're not expecting it, it works.
A long setup, but I liked it.
But it's funny. And she's like, wow, what an amazing story.
He looked exactly like me. And he's like, yeah, exactly like you, except he had these weird, deformed looking feet. And then, of course, the camera pans down to her feet, and she's got these weird, it looks like tree roots for feet, but made of skin.
Now we skipped over the humans coming out.
Yeah, okay. So after we find out that Ricky has been transformed back to his human self, then they invite all the other characters in.
Yes, all of the people who were, we totally skipped over the death of Sockman or Sockhead or whatever. Yeah. He was killed because he has this whole death scene where they take the sock off and he coughs up blood. Anyways, he's dead.
Yeah, the sock puppet.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Sockhead dies. He gets shot to death by the Rastafaris.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's really...
Well, I just remembered that happened because he's not there at the end. Yeah. So yeah, everybody aside from the worm is back to their human selves. They introduce them one at a time.
The worm and Ortiz, because he wasn't part of it.
Ortiz had already run away.
He was still chasing the squirrel, and he chases it onto the stage of the show.
Yeah,
and catches it.
Yeah.
And then once he catches it, he just throws it into the audience, and it bites a woman.
Yeah, that's true.
And Stewie is still mutated.
Because the macarons were eaten before he was either both around them and a mutant.
Right. So, now Sky Daily is like, oh, so you look like me, huh? And he was like, yeah, you look just like you, except his feet were deformed. And then you find out it's him.
Yes. Brooke Shields is Randy Quaid.
Yes. Even though they shot him to death, he's still alive. He went on to make
to be Sky Daily. I don't know if this is a new show or was there a real Sky Daily or how did he become Sky Daily? Is that just what the natural, because in the full vat of the Zygrot, no selections were made on his computer.
Right.
So is that what everybody would
I guess
become?
The plan here was to become a talk show host, invite him on the show and invite all the freaks and then kill them while they're there. That's what I gathered from this. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter. They're just ending the movie.
Yes, we're ending it here. It's wrapping up, and it's just throw everything out.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
What the fuck ever. Who cares?
So yeah,
I like how John Hawkes is standing behind the cowboy is standing behind all the freaks whenever they're in their human form, in a cluster, and he has to stick his head underneath somebody's armpit to get his head into frame.
Yeah.
I'm actually in this movie.
Yes. But yeah, they're back to their human form, and then Sky Daily pulls out, is it a knife or something? She's going to stab Ricky with it, and then she gets shot in the back, and it's Julie, who is no longer
attached to
Ernie.
Yeah.
And then, she comes in, and she and Ricky kiss.
She's in a dress, because of course they're in love now, because sure.
They're together now,
sure.
And then...
Give me some sugar, baby.
Yeah.
And then Sky Daily pops back up with another knife, or the same knife, I guess. And then she gets shot again.
It'd be better if it was another knife.
And it's Ernie this time. And he's just like, oh, come on. You didn't think that was going to happen. You didn't know that was coming.
It was obvious.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
And then it's just
he walks over.
Now it's like an SNL credit sequence where everyone's just smiling and waving.
It makes me think of the end of Wayne's World, because
Yeah.
they go around and talk about the lessons they've learned, and and all of that.
It makes me think of Pootie Tang, because that one guy is interviewing Pootie Tang through the whole movie.
So long.
I've never seen it. I want to.
Yeah, we have.
Oh,
we have
shit.
We
plans
were
to do.
supposed to do it, but
Well,
it keeps getting pushed away.
Yeah, we're gonna do Pootie Tang for sure. I remember liking it when I saw it.
Matt Lauer.
I just haven't seen it.
He's interviewing
Oh.
Pootie Tang through the whole movie, and then at the end of the movie, it just kind of goes off the rails. The interview with him, and it's funny.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lots of movies did that.
Yeah.
Like,
we will definitely watch it and do it for the podcast.
yeah, I paid
We had
for it
planned.
like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a
anticipation
while.
doing it. I mean, we're okay. Well, I mean, we shouldn't talk about the thing we're going to do next on the show. So we might have to cut this part out. Okay, start again talking about Freaked. Now we'll cut out the Pootie Tang part.
Sure.
Okay, so
yeah,
the movie's over.
I mean,
would you
much.
recommend this movie?
No,
Chad?
the movie's not over yet, because the last thing that happens is as soon as the camera freezes, Sky Daily pops up behind them
and then
again,
it's like freeze frame.
and that's like the joke at the end is like, you can't kill.
Oh no!
Yeah, she's Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
popping up out of the
movie's
lake.
over. It's got another one of those fucking 90s songs playing. So, what did we think of this? I am an absolute watch. Anybody listening to this, please, I don't think we did it justice here. This really needs to be seen to be believed. We've already almost doubled.
Well, some of this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked longer about this movie than the movie is. So if
Yeah.
you got through this, you're going to get through the movie just fine. Put it on a Saturday. It's real easy to get through. It is.
It's a little gross. It's a little stupid, but it's really fun. Like at the end of the day, I enjoyed this movie far more than I thought I was going to.
It's a big, dumb, fun, stupid movie. It's the dumbest movie you'll probably ever watch.
10 minutes make you think. The first 10 minutes is weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, the setup for the movie is really
once
weak.
The other freaks come in, again, once Randy Quaid comes in, it's really quite enjoyable all the way to the end, in my opinion.
I think fans of Pee-wee's Playhouse
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
will like this.
For sure.
I think fans of Guar will like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think fans of like puppets doing dirty shit will like this.
If you liked Michael Jackson's Moonwalker,
Well, I don't know, because I didn't like that.
and the reason I say that
you
is
remember
because
those like 80s like things where the puppets would look really like detailed, like Ronald Reagan was one of them. Like remember that Phil Collins video with all the puppets talking and like like shit. Okay, never mind.
But the reason I brought up Moonwalker is because you brought up Pee-wee's Playhouse, and the irony there is the claymation animator worked on both of those things. So if you like those things, you're going to love this. It fits right in there with it. If you liked Nothing But Trouble, this is another movie like that.
If you liked the Cheddar Goblin and you wanted some more of that shit, which everybody did want some more Cheddar Goblin because that little commercial was not enough. Okay,
I love
check
the Cheddar
this
Goblin.
Yeah, I bought you a Cheddar Goblin shirt.
This is like the origin of Cheddar Goblin.
Yeah, I mean, and or if you just appreciate practical effects and movie makeup and all of that shit, because it really is impressive.
That is why
as gross as some of it is, it's fucking. It's an achievement, man.
That is absolutely why I highly recommend this. It is not for the plot. The acting isn't all that great, but the special effects, man, the costumes, the set designs in this, it's one of the best I've ever seen. Like there are few movies.
Well, it's like exactly your aesthetic, though.
Right?
It's like specifically.
And this movie
yours.
really didn't need to go that hard, but they did. They loved.
This
what
is
they
the
were
right
doing.
kind of.
Tell us about how bad it
project.
did in the movie theaters.
Okay, so the problem with this, and why most of you out there probably haven't heard of this, is because during the filming of this, when they were wrapping up and editing the film, Warner Brothers went through changes with management. And they brought in a new CEO who watched the film, fucking hated it. He didn't understand it. He didn't like Generation X, period.
So a different management paid to have it made, and then the new management didn't want to pay to have it promoted.
Absolutely. So it was kind of shit can and shelved.
Wow, that's fucked.
So I will ask you guys, how many theaters do you think this went to?
13.
No.
4.
Close.
Oh, this sucks.
This went to 2 theaters in America.
What the
Wow.
fuck?
The budget
man?
on it was $12 million.
Jesus.
It
Well,
made-
a lot of it went to the effects.
It made like just under $30,000.
Oh my god.
It got a better release overseas, but here it only went to 2 theaters.
That is so sad. Like
Yeah.
genuinely.
And immediately went to VHS. I think that it was Suncoast Records, like the stores that they really, really liked this movie for whatever reason, and they did a whole bunch of promotion for it
Yeah.
for the VHS release.
well,
Which
they
is
got
why,
it. Like they understood.
Yeah,
which-
this is a very Suncoast movie. This is the type of movie they would have T-shirts.
absolutely. I'm surprised this is not on Amazon Prime. This is a movie that Amazon would just.
It's
eat.
not on Prime, at least for sale.
No, it's not for sale digitally. If you want to buy the Blu-ray or the DVD, you're going to pay a lot of fucking money for it. I mean, the DVD.
Well, that's good. That's nice of the person that uploaded it to YouTube then. And I hope this doesn't contribute to it getting shot down for copyright.
Well, is that it? Yeah.
How much is it?
Look at that shit. $12.
There's no way.
16.
There's no way.
$10.
Not for the DVD.
It says DVD. DVD.
How the
Starring
hell?
Alex Winter. Then there's it, Randy Quaid.
Weird.
The funniest film in years.
The last
Says the creator of Ren and Stimpy.
I looked that up.
Who
like
is
I'm talking weeks ago
problematic.
in preparation for
Yeah.
the podcast, and copies of the DVD were like in the hundreds.
well, that doesn't mean they were selling.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, there you
But
go.
there you go. You can go on Amazon and buy it for $12. I
That's
guess.
fucking awesome. I mean, so that genuinely makes me sad because had this done well, he could have gone on to make other movies. So because it makes me think of The Dark Crystal, which is my favorite movie of all time. And that's a
Yeah.
Jim Henson movie. And that was a passion project of his. He worked so fucking hard on it. And it flopped because everybody just wanted the Muppets. Right? And they didn't understand the weird, dark
I understood.
time.
I was
it was
obsessed
my
with it as a
favorite.
child.
Dude, I would enact Kira's death scene for
When
my
I
mother.
found out that he died,
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
Henson, I cried as a
No,
child.
I did
like,
too.
hard.
That was upsetting.
No, Jim Henson.
It was worse than that lady dying in the shuttle, the
Challenger?
Challenger. Yeah. I was kind of like, oh, that sucks.
That
That's
sucks.
sad.
No, I cried when Jim Henson died too. Like far more than Disney or Looney Tunes. My childhood was shaped by Jim Henson and Don Bluth. Those were my two, like really. But yeah, to this day, The Dark Crystal is my favorite. Anyways, it flopped so ridiculously that he never got the chance to do anything like that again, and that sucks.
Wow, do you think that's the case with fucking Tideland?
What do you mean?
I mean, that was his passion project. Terry Gilliam.
Well, yeah,
No,
but I
but
mean,
the
he's-
Imaginarium of Dr.
What has he
Parnassus
made
came-
since? Yeah, wait, he did the Don Quixote.
He did
yeah,
Don
Zero
Quixote.
he's still
Theorem.
making
The
all kinds of-
Imaginarium of Dr.
Yeah.
Parnassus was after that too, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm
made
just talking out of my ass. It's because I got to
Fine.
fart really bad.
Okay, well,
We should wrap
Chad,
this
where
up.
can people find you? Please get him out of my office.
No, I got a cigarette lighter. In my
No, that
pocket.
is not good enough.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook at Chad J Moon. Come say hello, Jessica. Where can they find you?
I'm at JHL Moon on Twitter and Instagram. If you talk to me, I'll talk back. Otherwise, I'm probably not super present on there. Meh.
Chucky, you want to plug anything? You want people to find you?
Yeah, I'm at your mom's house.
Oh, mom joke, huh? You're going to talk about my dead mother. My dead mother, Chucky.
No, I was talking about our listeners.
But you were
I'm at
making eye
your
contact
mom's
with him.
house.
What the hell? Okay, just like freaked, this podcast has gone off the rails at the very end. Did I say we
Yeah.
just freeze frame and call it a day?
Jugga, 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 jugga.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of this. Have a good time. Till we see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.